And a very pleasant good evening, everyone, and welcome to Cassville Wildcat Football here on the Talon Sports Network. Glad to be back with you for another season of Wildcat Football here on KQMO 97.7 FM, also live streaming video at CassvilleWebTV.com, also on YouTube. Just search for Cassville Wildcat Football, Cassville Web TV on YouTube, and you can watch the games online. You can also, if you don't have access to some way to watch it video coverage wise, you can get the live streaming audio at radiotalon.com. And also new this year, we have free apps. If you are an Apple or Android user, you can download the app. Just go to your app store, type in KQMO, and download the free app, and then you can have the audio version with you wherever you go on your mobile device. So plenty of ways to keep up with Wildcat football throughout the 2020 season, and we're looking forward to covering Cassville again this season here on the Talon Network. Sammy Clapper along with you here, alongside Jeremy Marple, back with me again, my partner here on the broadcast. And we've got Todd Speakman over here again this season, our videographer, engineer, camera operator. He kind of keeps getting these titles added to the list of things he does over here for us, but we appreciate Todd running the camera for us on Web TV. And glad to have the three amigos back and ready to go for 2020. And Jeremy, I bring in my partner, and it seems like just yesterday that you and I were up in Columbia on a beautiful, sunny, cold Saturday morning watching Cassville play in the state championship game. And here we are. It's coming up on 9 months later, but we're ready to play football once again.
Been a crazy 2020, Sammy, and these kids and fans and all of us have had to make some adjustments just to get to this point. I'm so thankful that the area schools that were able to get back in school and were able to get these kids out on the football field, and I don't know how long it's going to last. I hope we can make a run through the whole season here, but I'm going to enjoy it while we're still able to do this and give the communities and these kids kind of a sense of normalcy and get going. I'm very excited for this football season. It's it, it it couldn't get here fast enough.
It definitely is exciting for all the fans. It will be limited attendance tonight. The capacity here at Mountaineer Stadium has been reduced somewhat, and that is all due to the health protocols put in place by county health departments and also community directors. So again, not everyone going to be able to completely pack the stadium, but a nice group of fans is gathering for this one on both the home and visitor side, and looking forward to watching the Wildcats and the Mountaineers play. And we are looking forward to having you alongside on all of the Talon Network options, whether it's video coverage, whether it's radio, online audio. We've got several ways for you to keep up with things. It's also hard to believe that you and I begin our 18th year together covering Cassville Wildcat football. That doesn't seem possible as well.
I kind of tried to forget how many years it
How
has
long it's
been,
been?
but 18 years. Wow, that's we've had a pretty good run, and I'll tell you what. Last season, very exciting. Made a run, got to go do another state championship, and again, I'm just looking forward to what's getting ready to start tonight, and hopefully we can move forward and play a long time this fall.
Yeah, with Cassville opening up the season here at Mountaineer Stadium against the Mount Vernon Mountaineers. And 2 or 3 months ago, people were wondering if this night would even happen. But here we are, opening night, and we are thankful for that and hopefully can continue week after week throughout the season. Looking back to last year, both of these teams with a lot of success. Cassville 12-3 overall. They went all the way to the Class 3 state championship game, finished runner-up to Odessa as they lost in that title game. Mount Vernon 10-1 a year ago. Their only loss coming in the district semifinals. They were unbeaten until they got upended by Seneca in the semis, and then Cassville would beat Seneca and go on to the state championship. So both teams outstanding a year ago. Just looking at the rosters, Cassville got a few more players back from last year's team than Mount Vernon did, but Mountaineers and Cassville have both been on a really good run here lately. They didn't play each other last year since Mount Vernon got upended in the semifinals. They didn't meet in the district championship. In 2018 was the last time the two teams met. Mount Vernon in the Big 8 East, Cassville in the Big 8 West, so they have to wait till that rotation comes around to play each other regular season like they are this year. But they did play 2 years ago in the district championship game, and that was the last meeting between these two schools, and Mount Vernon came out on top, and they went all the way to the state semifinals that year.
Hey, it's Big 8 football. A lot of success, a lot of teams coming out of this conference and this district and moving on into the state playoffs. It happens nearly every single year. We know what the Mountaineers are capable of. They're going to be physical. They've got some nice skill players, good athletes over there on that side of the ball. week one. And we talk about it, this new conference, how big the conference has gotten. It's not just the Big Eight. There's 14 teams. There's no more out of conference games to kind of try to ease in and get ready for this conference season. It's week one. You better be ready to go, or you're going to end up at the bottom of the standings.
That's exactly right. And you look at the Big Eight here in week number one. We've got Cassville here at Mount Vernon. Monette is down at Hollister over on one of our sister stations, KKBL and MonetteWebTV.com. McDonald County is at Aurora on AM 940 and AuroraWebTV.com. You've got Nevada at Rogersville tonight. A battle of two new coaches in the Big Eight, Lamar at Springfield Catholic, and those are two pretty good football teams. Lamar being taken over by one of their alumni from the glory years, Jared Beshore, and Springfield Catholic, Coach Rich Rehagen, who had a lot of success at Nixa, has now moved into Springfield and taken over the Irish. You've got Seneca at Marshfield. That's a long trip for the Indians, but two very good football teams meeting up there in Webster County. East Newton at Reed Spring is the other Big Eight matchup. So a lot of interesting ball games here in the Big Eight to open up the week.
Every week there are going to be interesting games in the Big Eight. There's just no way around it. There are good teams up and down the conference, and it's going to be an exciting year of football.
We're looking forward to it. Glad to have you along for another season of Wildcat football here on the Talon Network. We'll start things off letting you know we've got several new sponsors for our broadcast this year, and we appreciate each and every one of them for helping us out get these games on the airwaves and on web TV, and also supporting Cassville High School athletics. Our first sponsor mention will be the Field Condition Report, and most schools now around the area have gone to turf, so the field is in excellent shape. The Field Condition Report is brought to you by Security Insurance Agency there in Cassville. What condition is your insurance in? Are you covered for the hazards of weather or losses that are unexpected? Call Security Insurance in Cassville at 847-8384. That's 8384. The one thing about the field being artificial surface, we don't have to worry about it being hard this time of year since we've been so dry here lately. They don't have to worry about the mud once we move later into the fall. But opening night, the clouds moved away. Laura, kind of the hurricane, missed us, and the sun has come out and the temperatures went up. And these artificial surfaces radiate a lot of heat.
You're probably looking at 20 degrees difference from the stands down to that playing surface. So players on both sides, I really hope they've been hydrating throughout the day. Should have started yesterday, because they are going to be losing a lot of fluid out here tonight, and it's not going to take very long for that to happen.
We do have a little bit of a breeze that will help, but the one thing, the humidity didn't go through the roof, but it definitely, once the sun came out, the humidity level started rising. So you're exactly right. These players needed to be hydrating throughout the week to be ready to go tonight. We'll know pretty quick, probably in the first half, if we start seeing a lot of cramping issues, or there's somebody probably didn't take in enough fluids throughout the week of preparation, but that is still yet to come. We need to take a break, let you hear from some more of our sponsors. We'll be back with more. You're listening to Wildcat Football here on the Talon Network. We are about ready to have the national anthem played by the Mountaineer Marching Band. The national anthem brought to you by Berry County Ready Mix. For any and all of your ready mix stone or aggregate needs, stop by Berry County Ready Mix at any of their convenient locations in Shell Knob, Cassville, or Eagle Rock. You can phone their Cassville office at 847-3200 for a free estimate today. Berry County Ready Mix sponsoring tonight's national anthem. Again, give them a call, 847-3200. Role models are more important than ever in today's society. You can serve as a role model for others the next time you display good sportsmanship at a high school athletic event. Good sports are also winners and are vital to preserving our fine sports traditions. So the next time you attend a sporting event, remember to be a good sport and help rekindle the spirit of citizenship. This message has been brought to you by Access Family Care. Offices in Cassville, Neosho, Aurora, Mount Vernon, and Joplin. And tonight's broadcast also brought to you in part by Tomlin's Jewelry and Gifts. You can order your art-carved or gold lance class rings at affordable prices at Tomlin's Jewelry and Gifts on the northeast corner of the square in Cassville, and Sports World, 709 Main Street in Cassville for all of your screen printing and embroidery needs, sporting goods, and school athletic clothing. Call Sports World, 847-5366. We'll be back after this break. Let you hear from our sponsors and more pregame from Mount Vernon. Clapper and Jeremy Marple back here at Mountaineer Stadium. The Wildcats on the road to open up the 2020 season, taking on the Mount Vernon Mountaineers. It's time for tonight's Wildcat Keys to Victory, brought to you by Wesco Home Furnishings in Cassville. Mark Whittemire and the crew at Wesco Home Furnishings are looking forward to another great season of Wildcat football. Just like the quality portrayed by each Wildcat player on the field, Wesco offers the same quality merchandise and customer service. All right, what are some of the keys to a Wildcat win on the road here to open up 2020?
First game of the season, Sammy. I know they've been through a jamboree, but timing of the offense, making the correct calls on the defense, and just getting into the flow of football again. That contact, nothing like live game action. You can't replicate it in practice. Just getting used to that contact, and probably the most important thing is early in this season, two of them, limit the penalties, early season penalty type plays, and ball security. Hang on to that football. Don't give the opposition short field.
I think what you mentioned about getting everything in sync and kind of getting into a rhythm and flow really important, because a new quarterback, now he is not an unfamiliar player. The Wildcats, he played at Cassville as a freshman, went down to Arkansas. He's back now as a senior, but still he has to adjust to the Wildcat way they play football.
Well, he's going to have to adjust to playing the position. I don't know how much quarterback that he played while he was in Arkansas, but my understanding is I wasn't able to make it to the Jamboree. My understanding is looked pretty good in the Jamboree. So it's not a position that he's unfamiliar with. He did play, I believe, as a freshman some, but the last couple of years I don't know how many reps at the quarterback position that he has gotten. You've got a senior kid, big, strong. I think he's going to be able to run this offense pretty well.
Another key to a win is making an adjustment right off the bat, and that goes to kind of the rhythm and the being in sync with each other because Cassville's going to be down one of their starting running backs. He got injured in the Jamboree. He's going to be out for 3 or 4 weeks. So some new guys are going to be stuck back there in the backfield, capable guys. They're names that folks will recognize when we start calling their names carrying the football, but still it's not what you expected coming out of Jamboree going into week number 1. Now those adjustments are going to have to be made. They're going to have to be kind of made. They've made them throughout the week in practice, but now you're going to put it out on the field.
You know what? Football is a game where injuries are going to happen, and you've got to have, if you're going to be a good team, you got to have some depth behind those first team guys. I think the Wildcats have some of that this year. Losing a player like Zach Kanan, not only going to impact you offensively, maybe more so on the defensive side of the football, but we'll see how these kids respond. Just visiting with Coach Parnell, I believe that in the Jamboree when he actually was dinged up, a couple of plays later, I believe that the Wildcats went in and scored a touchdown. So he appreciated the way the team responded. We'll see tonight how the team's going to respond out here.
And of course, injuries are just part of it this year. We already know the crazy 5 or 6 months it's been with the coronavirus. A positive test will also get you knocked out of a lineup, and that's something coaches and teams are going to probably have to deal with as we proceed forward as well. So it's going to be those teams that have the depth and be able to back up those kids, whether they're hurt or whether they have to be quarantined for a while, the ones that are going to have the successes. And it's really nice what they're doing here at Mount Vernon for both of these teams. The ambulance and the fire department are all here blowing their sirens. You can probably hear them in the background as the teams are coming out of the locker room onto the field because like we talked about 2 or 3 months ago, we didn't know whether this night was going to happen. And for the folks that are allowed in, and it's limited capacity, only about 30-40% of what this stadium could actually hold is being allowed in to watch this game tonight. But they are giving these teams a great ovation to start this game tonight.
Yep, the Wildcats come out, make the long walk all the way down the field, leading the way with a giant American flag. It's really nice to see. And as the Mountaineers are being announced individually, I assume they're doing the starters, but the Wildcats stacking up down in the end zone, and they're ready to hit somebody beside themselves, and they're ready to get going.
We'll go ahead while they're going over the starters for the Mountaineers and run over tonight's starting lineup for the Wildcats. It is brought to you by Fast Trip at 104 South Main in Cassville. Great prices and friendly service is what you'll find at Fast Trip. Stop by today. Locally owned by Mike and Anita Carr. Starting offense for the Wildcats, a new quarterback, Hayden Sink. 6'4", 230-pound senior will be guiding the offense for the Wildcats. His running backs will be Jericho Ferris, a 5'10", 185 senior, and Ethan Fox, a 5'10", 155 junior. The wide receivers, Drake Reese, a 6'3", 190 senior. Reese was a first-team all-conference kicker and punter a year ago. He will be at one wideout. Brett Cooper, a 5'9", 165 senior, at the other receiver. Killian Barbie will be back at tight end, a 6'2", 205 senior. And the offensive line for the Wildcats at center, Zach Carney, 6'1", 240 senior. Second-team all-conference from a year ago, right guard Jaden Rybert, 6'4", 290 senior. Right tackle Wesley Stockton, 6 foot, 280 senior. Left guard Patrick Dunker, 6 foot, 285 senior. And left tackle Hunter Chastain. He was a second-team all-conference performer from a year ago. He is a 6'1", 225 senior. On the defensive side for the tackles, Patrick Dunker, 6 foot, 285 senior. Garrett Kreitz, 6'1", 290 junior. Defensive ends, Jaden Rybert, 6'4", 290 senior. Hunter Chastain, 6'1", 225 senior. Linebackers, maybe an adjustment to the linebacking core. When we were talking with Coach Parnell earlier in the week, I should say, it was Killian Barbie, Hayden Sink, and Spencer Moeller. We'll see when the defense comes out. The cornerbacks will be Brett Cooper, 5'9", 165 senior, and Jerome Ewing, 5'10", 155 senior. First-team all-conference a year ago, Jericho Ferris at the strong safety, 5'10", 185 senior, and Drake Reese at the free safety, 6'3", 190 senior. Again, the starting lineup brought to you by Fast Trip Whether you're looking for gas, grocery items, fountain drinks, ice cream, snacks, they have it all and at the very best prices. Fast Trip, 104 South Main in Cassville, locally owned by Mike and Anita Carr. And you may have noticed 10 seniors starting on offense, 10 seniors starting on defense.
Yeah, that's a luxury to have that many seniors on each side of the football. But another thing you notice going down through that roster, this is a pretty big Wildcat football team. You look at these kids, especially along the lines, and some of the weights posted. Looks some of them have grown in height, put on weight, and it appears to be pretty good weight. And this is a big Wildcat football team this year.
A lot of size, as you said, both in height and girth. So that always proves beneficial when you're on the gridiron. And the Wildcats are hoping to turn that into some more wins this year after picking up 12 wins a year ago and making it all the way to the state championship game. The Wildcats are looking forward to get the season started. Mount Vernon Mountaineers doing the same. Mount Vernon coached again this year by Tom Cox as he is guiding the Mountaineers, and Coach Lance Parnell taking over and running the Wildcats as always, as he has been there for several years as well. So you got two veteran coaches leading a couple of pretty experienced football teams into this season opener here this evening. We're going to step aside and take another break, let you hear some more from our sponsors, and be back with more of the pregame and get closer and closer to the opening kickoff of tonight's 2020 season for Wildcat football. Go through the coin toss. The team captains are meeting out at midfield with the officiating crew and the coaches. Tonight's coin toss is brought to you by the Clark Center. They have offices in Berry, Lawrence, and Dade counties. You can go to clarkmentalhealth.com to find the phone number for services in your area. Clark Community Mental Health Center, moving forward, improving lives and communities through compassion and care. The Clark Center bringing you tonight's coin toss. Mason Bailey, team captain and quarterback for the Mountaineers, across from, looks like Jaden Rybert, team captain and two-way starter on the offensive and defensive line for the Wildcats. We got Zach Kanan out there, Drake Reese, and also Jericho Ferris as captains. And everyone practicing their social distancing rules. The officials are staying away from each other as much as possible. The coaches staying back as well. The coin is in the air. It's caught by the referee, and it looks like Mount Vernon's calling it, if I am seeing correctly. And Mount Vernon has won, and they have deferred So Cassville will get the football to start the opening quarter here tonight, as the Mountaineers will defer their option to the second half.
Well, the Wildcats are going to come out on the field. Again, we talked about new quarterback. You know, a few of the skill position players, new guys stepping up to fill some pretty big shoes. Wildcats had some really nice players that did a good job for them last year, and DJ White and Bowen Preddy and Devin Bates at quarterback, and you know, those are positions that they make differences in games, and the Wildcats have some guys that are going to step up and try to fill those roles this year.
One thing we want to remind folks, they will have the mandatory water break somewhere the midway point of each quarter, since we are dealing with the heat and humidity here tonight, and also the new coronavirus rules that have been implemented by county and local health departments and the Missouri State High School Activities Association. They have expanded the sidelines. Normally, teams have to stay within a box, and they, of course, cannot encroach on the sidelines, and they still cannot do that, but they are able to spread out now all the way from 10-yard line to 10-yard line to be able to practice their social distancing. Coaches are wearing face masks. You even see some of the players on the sidelines that are not actually in the game having face masks. I did not see any actually player that's in the game with a mask on besides the shielding in their helmets. So a lot of new things that players have to abide by going into the 2020 season.
Was there a rule, too, about players having to have individual water bottles or something of that nature, too?
I think there was,
yeah,
yes.
so a lot of things to keep up with.
Jericho Ferris will drop back for the Cassville Wildcats. He'll be joined back there by Brett Cooper, and I'm trying to catch the other guy over there on the far side. We'll see if we can get him here in just a minute. Kicking off for the Mountaineers, it will be Dominic Dawson. Mount Vernon kicking out of the south end zone. Cassville going from our left to right as we look on here this evening. Dawson approaches the ball. It's a kick down the left-hand sideline, angling away from Cooper. He lets it bounce at about the 12, picks it up back at the 9. Did he keep his feet in bounds? And the official is saying no, he stepped on the sidelines, but he didn't blow the whistle until the tackle was made. So kind of unusual there that he waited that long, but they say Cooper, who was trying to tightrope the sidelines and catch the ball, did step on the sideline. It looks like Cassville will start at their own 9-yard line.
Yeah, on a kick like that, you know, you're talking early season things. You know, the way that ball was angling to the sideline, that's something that they may visit with Mr. Cooper about. You know, maybe that ball goes out of bounds. So just early season things and things that will need to be worked on.
Wildcats come to the line of scrimmage for the first time this season. Drake Reese goes wide to the left and Cooper out wide to the right. I formation behind Hayden Sink. He gives off to the tailback, big hole up the middle. And the ball is carried out across the 10-yard line. Jericho Ferris takes it out close to the 13, so a gain of nearly 4 yards on first down.
Ferris has got nice top-end speed. He also does a pretty good job running in traffic, kind of getting low and getting behind those pads. He can be difficult to tackle at times.
Just underway here in the first quarter. Cassville has run one play. We are early on in this Big 8 matchup. Crossover game, Big 8 East Mount Vernon against Big 8 West Cassville. Sink under center, pitches the ball to Ferris, cuts it back in on the corner, dives across the 15 and got tripped up. May have lost his footing a little bit, or he would have had a lot of running room over there. He trying to dive to that first down mark, and looks like he comes up just a little bit short. It'll bring up 3rd and 1.
Yeah, a little toss sweep there. He got a nice kick-out block, tried to step up underneath that block and looked like he got his feet tangled just a tad. He had some room out in front of him. Looked like he had a safety to beat.
So Cassville facing their first 3rd down opportunity here in the first quarter on their first drive. 3rd and 1 from their own 18. Split backfield this time, and Sink's going to take it right in behind that big offensive line, and the Wildcats just mold their way out across the 20 out to the 22 and pick up the first down. The Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal. They're first in metal roofing. Look them up on Facebook or YouTube and request a free quote.
Well, you got to like the Wildcats' chances in a short yardage situation when you've got a 6'4", 230-pound quarterback back there running that quarterback sneaky.
And then when you got a bunch of 280 and 290 pounders up in front of him too.
You really like your odds right there.
So 1st and 10 Cassville, the ball at their own 23-yard line. They'll split receivers again. They'll bring the tight end Barbie back around to the right side. Go with the I formation behind Sink. Cassville comes with a corner blitz. Sink steps up in the pocket. Now he's looking to run the football. He gets to the 25, stiff arms a man, and dives his way out close to the 30-yard line. The ball comes free, but it looks like the official is saying he was down at the 30, so Cassville will keep possession.
Sink did a nice job there keeping that play alive, trying to work his way towards the Mountaineer sideline, looking downfield. Nice job in the secondary there by the Mountaineers. Nobody there. Sink Smart play, heads-up play as a senior, kept it himself, went over there to the sideline before he was brought out of bounds.
9:45 left to go in the first quarter. Tonight's first quarter brought to you by Michael's Hardware at 186 Sale Barn Road in Cassville. For your project questions, call Michael's. Friendly folks, serious hardware. Second down and about 3 to go for Cassville. The ball at their own 30. They overload the right side, the short side of the field, and Sink looks back to the left side, and he'll keep it himself. He's across the 35, across the 40, rumbles his way out to the 44-yard line and picks up another Wildcat first down. Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal. They're first in commercial and farm buildings. Call them for a free quote at 888-364-9527.
Yeah, big quarterback there again. Sink just taking the football, opening up, turning right around, going right in behind that big offensive line. Really nice job there. Patrick Dunker out there right with him leading the way, and a big play right there for the Wildcats.
It's a gain of 15 yards. First and 10 Cassville at their own 45. They started this drive back at their own 9. And they've ate up 3 minutes off the clock as we just move inside 9 minutes left to go here in quarter number 1. Cassville goes double tight set this time. Lone receiver to the right side. They split the backfield, and are they going to have a delay of game? Or did they get a timeout called? Yeah, we got a delay of game against Cassville. Wasn't keeping an eye on the play clock there, and it'll back them up 5 yards. Moves it back to the 40-yard line. First penalty of the night against either team.
Well, last year they instituted the rule where as soon the play clock's starting quicker and quicker. So you're really going to, and Coach Parnell's wanting to visit with somebody about the play clock because he thinks that was a little bit too quick.
Yeah, the new rule has it now. The referee does not put the in play like he used to, where he would step back, make sure everyone's ready, and then blow his whistle. As soon as the ball is spotted, the play clock starts.
Correct.
They've given a few more seconds to it, but still, as soon as that ball is spotted, the play clock starts. Sink looking for his first pass of the night, has time in the pocket, got a man open down the middle. It's Ferris, and the ball is a little bit hung up in the air on him, and it falls incomplete.
Yeah, Ferris had a step on the secondary, and Sink just underthrew him just a little bit right there. Big kid. Step into that throw. He's got to trust those guys. They'll run under that football. Ferris got some great speed.
So it will bring up second down and 15 now for Cassville after the incomplete pass. Clock is stopped with 8:32 left to go here in quarter number 1. Cooper goes wide left, and it looks like Spencer Moeller comes out wide to the right. Cassville going to run to the left side. Sink gets wrapped around his head and taken down at the 43-yard line. And that will be short of the original line of scrimmage before the penalty backed him up, and it'll bring up third down and nearly 12 yards to go.
Wildcats trying to run that quick slant. We saw him run it a lot last season with a lot of success. Trying to run it right there, defended very well by the Mountaineers. So Sink just put it in his pocket and tried to get what he could, and another nice play by the Mountaineer defense.
So a big third down play coming up. Cassville converted on their first third down opportunity, but this one third down and nearly 12. The first time it was only third down and a yard. Sink, drop, here comes the screen. Pass is caught by Cooper. He's across the 50, he's inside the 45, has the first down, breaks the tackle, makes the cutback at the 35, inside the 30, down to the 20 before he is finally wrestled out of bounds.
Nice little bubble screen there. Great play call by the offensive coordinator, Clay Weldy, and it run to perfection, set up very nicely, and great blocking out in front of Cooper, and Cooper just turned on the jets, got down that sideline. Huge play for the Wildcats.
A first down for Cassville. The first down brought to you by Superior Metal. They're first in all your farm building needs. Check them out online for examples of what they can build for you at superiormetalsalesinc.com. First and 10 Wildcats at the 18-yard line of the Mountaineers, and Cassville looking to put the ball back on the ground. They run it up the middle. Jericho Ferris tripped up at the 15-yard line. He dives forward, but a flag is thrown. And the referee having a little trouble with his microphone. And it will be a formation illegal procedure against Cassville, and that will back them up another 5.
Well, the Wildcats driving here. Big play to get them down in the red zone. Penalty takes them just outside of the red zone. Still first down.
So the Wildcats have been flagged twice for a total of 10 yards. First and 10, Cassville at the 23-yard line now, the Mountaineers, after the big 39-yard screen pass completion from Sink to Cooper. Sink this time with a couple of blockers in front, turns the corner, ducks his shoulders, and drives down to the 20. Bulls his way down to the 19 for a gain of about 4.
Little quarterback keeper, just a quarterback sweep play following a couple backs around that left side. A lot of bodies out in front of Sink, but Mountaineers do a good job of not giving up much there.
Cassville has held the ball for nearly 5 minutes as we're closing in on 7 minutes left to go here in quarter number 1. The Wildcats facing second down and 12 now from the Mount Vernon 19-yard line. Keep the backfield split. They bring Cooper in motion. He passes through, rolling to his right. Sink throws underneath. Pass is caught by Cooper at the 15-yard line, and he is quickly wrapped up by a couple of Mountaineer defenders for a gain of 4.
One thing we noticed in warm-ups watching Sink throw the football, he throws it pretty well on the move. Sometimes that's difficult for a young quarterback to do, but he does a pretty good job throwing when he gets out of the pocket. May throw it as good or maybe a little better than he does sitting in the pocket trying to deliver the football. Nice throw and a good catch there by Cooper.
So it'll bring up another third down situation for the Wildcats. They are in Drake Reese's field goal range, but they would like to get 6 here. Third down and 6 for Cassville at the Mount Vernon 15. They go to the I formation. Fox is the fullback, Ferris the tailback, and we've got whistles again. Flags come in from the side and from the referee. And we wait for the call. Another penalty against Cassville, this time a false start. And so that'll take 5 yards back in the wrong direction, and it'll move it back out to the 20. So it turns a 3rd and 6 into a 3rd and 11. Cassville stays with the I formation. Sink fakes the handoff. Now he passes over the middle to Ferris. Ferris makes the catch. He's at the 15. Fights his way down to the 10-yard line, but he is going to come up short of the first down. It'll bring up 4th down.
Well, nice little screen there to Ferris. I thought up at the top of the field there you had Drake Reese, 6'3", 190-pound receiver, one-on-one all the way up at the top of the field. I thought the Wildcats might take a look up there. Good athlete, able to jump, get up and catch that football. Wildcats staying on the field here in 4th down.
It's 4th down and about 3.5 yards to go. The ball resting just outside the 10, between the 10 and the 11-yard line. They need to get inside the 8 to pick up the first down. And we may have a timeout. It looks like Cassville is going to call a timeout. The timeout on the field is brought to you by Security Bank. It's time to think about your bank. Any bank can cash checks, accept deposits, and make loans, but the distinguishing factor between banks is its level of service to the customer. Whether it's a loan decision or the process of your bank doing its processing through your statements, all the decisions and services of the Security Bank are generated by their talented local bank staff in a prompt, fair, and professional manner. Security Bank, member FDIC.
I may have missed it, but did we get our mandatory water break here in the first quarter?
And we're under 6 minutes, so they're probably using this timeout as that right now, because I see they've got multiple water bottles, what you were talking about earlier. It's not just that little 6-pack or 12-pack thing that they usually bring out.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got a whole wheelie cart full of water bottles.
Yeah. So
So this is going to be a little extended timeout.
Wildcats take the timeout, and they will use that apparently for this water break.
Cassville facing 4th down and about 3 yards to go just outside the Mount Vernon 10. The drive started back at the Wildcat 9-yard line. Some penalties have plagued the efforts of Cassville. They've had a couple of nice pass plays. The big screen pass from Hayden Sink to Brett Cooper of 39 yards got him deep in Mount Vernon territory. Now we'll see what Coach Parnell has up his sleeve along with offensive coordinator Clay Weldy.
It appears that it is the offense and not the kicking unit on the field. So
this will be the 15th play of the drive coming up, and they've taken 6.5 minutes off the clock. That's something we didn't really talk about in the pregame, but ball control against a team like Mount Vernon, who normally has some quick strike capabilities. If you can keep the ball away from them, that's definitely a key to a win as well.
Yeah, this can be a big momentum swing in this football game here if the Mountaineers are able to stop the Wildcats.
Cassville going with the full house backfield. They set up in the wishbone formation. Fox and Ferris, the two tailbacks. Sink is going to run in behind him. Sidesteps one man, sidesteps another. He's inside the 5, taking it towards the goal line. And they do not signal touchdown. Cassville fans thought he broke the plane, but it's a difficult angle for them over there from the visitor stands. And it looks like they are going to say Sink is down inside the 1, first and goal, Cassville.
Just a punishing run by Hayden Sink there. The design quarterback sweep, following those backs to the left edge. And when he decided to head down the field, he got behind those pads and delivered a blow. Mountaineers able to keep him out of the end zone.
So here we go, the handoff to Ferris, running off the right side, and he breaks the plane. Touchdown, Cassville. They convert on 4th and 3, and the next play they take it in from the 1, and the Wildcats are on top 6-0.
It wasn't real pretty. The drive, there was some ugly plays and penalties in there, but the Wildcats persevere. They drive it down the field in their opening drive of the football season, work it into the end zone for a Wildcat touchdown. Great job.
16 plays, 91 yards, and the Wildcats stick it into the end zone. Took 7 minutes off the clock. And now Drake Reese in to attempt the point after. As the holder this year, Spencer Moeller, snap back ball down. The kick is up. It's a line drive kick, but it makes it through the uprights, so the extra point is good. Wildcat touchdown brought to you by Willis Insurance, one of the area's oldest businesses, established in 1887. They're conveniently located on the square in Cassville and in the Bridgeway Plaza in Shell Knob. Willis Insurance, stop by to get a quote or call 847-3300. Willis Insurance, your trusted choice insurance agent. And the extra point brought to you by the barbecue station. Get your bib on at the barbecue station, 900 Main in Cassville. Call 847-0470 for all your catering needs. So as you said, a few penalties thrown in there, kind of disrupted the flow of the drive, but each time Cassville was able to overcome those setbacks. And 16 plays, 91 yards, 7 minutes, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Parnell, other than the penalties, I understand he's not going to be real happy about those, but to control the line of scrimmage, control the football, and manage that clock, that excites him. There's not much more that excites him than that.
Drake Reese now set to kick it away. The Wildcat kickoff brought to you by Baywash Car Wash in Cassville. Come try out the all-new IQ Soft Cloth Automatic featuring custom wash technology, giving you the perfect wash every time. With Baywash, a clean car is a happy car, and that makes you feel good. The breeze is starting to subside a little bit. We did have a little bit earlier, but now that the sun is starting to set, that's going away. Reese would have been kicking into that breeze, but not going to have to worry about that now, and he gets a good leg into this one and takes it all the way out the back of the end zone for a touchback. We were watching him warm up during pregame, and he was kicking the ball off the tee 50 to 60 yards pretty consistently.
Well, and the thing about Reese is he's progressed as a kicker is and if you didn't know, there are different tee sizes. And last year and previous years he had used a 2-inch tee. This season he's gone to a 1-inch tee, which college coaches and recruiters, they want to see how kickers kick off that 1-inch tee because that makes a big difference. And we saw the line drive on the extra point, but then he turned around and really got some good height and boom, that kickoff right there.
So Mount Vernon takes over with 5 minutes left to play in the first quarter. Cassville with a 7-0 lead. Mason Bailey from the shotgun throws it out into the flat. The catch is made behind the line of scrimmage. A quick turn up the sideline by Peyton Presnall. And Presnall rambles his way out close to the 30-yard line. It's going to be very close to a Mountaineer first down, and they do signal first down Mount Vernon.
Well, the Mountaineers are going to try to spread the Wildcats out and get them in space and make them chase around this football field. And when you have speed and athletes like the Mountaineers have, it can be difficult to defend.
Tonight's first quarter brought to you by Michael's Hardware in Cassville. Let them quarterback your project with the right tools and supplies for the job. Michael's, friendly folks, serious hardware. Man comes in motion for the Mountaineers, and that is Chase Strong. Now he goes back to the right side. They've got trips over there to the right. Single receiver split out wide to the left. They fake the handoff. Bailey looking to throw. He's under pressure. Grabbing a handful of jersey is big Jaden Rybert, and he takes him down inside the 25.
Rybert from that defensive end position was able to get off his block, get in the backfield. Normally in an open field situation with Bailey and Rybert, you think Bailey's quickness is going to win that one, but Rybert able to get that big paw out there, get a handful of jersey, and grab on and bring him to the ground. Really nice job there by Jaden Rybert.
It's a loss of 6 back to the 24-yard line. Second down and 16 now facing the Mountaineers. Mount Vernon continuing to go with the spread. Of course, with the new quarterback this year, Zach Jones, he had started since he was a sophomore, very capable quarterback, and now Bailey takes over the offense for the Mountaineers. Inside handoff this time as they run the ball to Moore, and Justin Moore is wrapped up as he hits the 25-yard line for a pickup of only a yard.
Ran in right into the arms of Garrett Kreitz, and when you get in there, you're not getting away. And Kreitz got a hold of the big back. You're talking about a 205, 210-pound back, and Kreitz just swallowed him up right there.
So 3rd down and 15 now facing the Mountaineers at their own 25-yard line. Closing in on 3 minutes now left to play here in the first quarter. Cassville on top, 7-0. Trips to the right side once again. Bailey operating from the shotgun. He's got Moore off his right hip. Fakes the handoff to him, looking downfield, and he lets one fly. Double coverage down here. Trying to get it into the hands of Rafe Darter. Darter makes the catch, but he may have not been in bounds. The back judge is saying he was. The side judge is now coming in. They're having a discussion, and it will be an incomplete pass.
Yeah.
Darter could not keep his feet in bounds, and we had a pretty good look at it.
Right in front of us.
Of course, the two officials doing a good job right there getting together, and the side judge saw that he did not keep his feet in bounds, so it goes incomplete. Otherwise, that would have been about a 35-yard completion into Cassville territory.
Well, and Darter's going to catch just about everything you throw around him. He's that talented. He just worked his way towards that sideline, and his left foot was out of bounds as he caught that football. Nice call, great job by the officiating crew to be right on top of that.
Very well thrown ball by Bailey, too, because there was 2 Cassville defenders down there, and he put it right into a little hole where only Darter had a chance to catch the football.
Yeah, our resident officials shocked that I just complimented.
That you complimented the officiating crew?
When they get it right, I'm going to say it, too.
Well, Mount Vernon now forced to punt facing 4th and 14. We've got Ferris and Cooper back deep. Left-footed punter, and that is Darter, and he gets it high but off to the side, and it bounces at the 40, and it will not make midfield unless the Mountaineers get a good roll, and he does get a good roll across the 50-yard line down to the Cassville 48, but not a super effective punt right there. And Cassville will have some good starting field position, but we do have the officials up. Looks like now we're going to have the water break, so they're not going to use that stoppage while ago. So Cassville will get charged for that timeout, and now they'll take the officials' timeout for a stoppage with 2:42 left to go here in the first quarter.
And the Wildcats are going to take the football in great field position here. 2 minutes and 42 seconds to go in the first quarter. Wildcats up 7-0.
So Cassville leads at 7-0 here late in the first quarter of play. Again, tonight's first quarter brought to you by Michael's Hardware, where they'll give you your to-do list, a game plan that's sure to be a winner. Michael's Hardware, friendly folks, serious hardware. Cassville scored on their opening possession of the night. Mount Vernon was forced to punt. And now Cassville takes over at their own, looks like 47-yard line with 2:42 left to go in quarter number 1. We'll go ahead and give our timeout sponsor a little added mention here with the water break. Security Bank is your timeout sponsor this year for Cassville Wildcat football. It's time to think about your bank. Everyone has debit cards and ATMs, mobile banking. But at Security Bank in Exeter, Wheaton, and Cassville, you sit across from a neighbor and a decision maker. Security Bank has the newest banking features with the same hometown service. Security Bank of Exeter, Wheaton, Cassville, member FDIC. So Wildcat football, 1st and 10 at their own 47. Here we go for their second possession of the night. Drake Reese comes wide to the right. Brett Cooper splits out wide to the left. Sink remains under center, split backfield, Fox and Ferris. They give the ball to Ferris. Ferris a hole over the left side, ducks his shoulder and drives into a defensive back and plows his way down to the 41-yard line. We always talk about Ferris's speed, but he's gained a little weight this year as well. And he showed some of that physicality right there as he lowered the shoulder pads and gained an extra yard or 2.
Yeah, really finished the run off. And as the season progressed a year ago, we really started to see him merge into that where he was finishing runs. He wasn't dancing quite as much. And right there we just saw the tail end of that run. He lowered the shoulder and delivered the punishment.
Picks up 10 yards, first down Cassville. The Wildcats with the ground attack once again. And this time Again, it's Ferris, the ball carrier. He takes it inside the 40 down to the 38, picks up about 4 yards on first down. By the way, that Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal Sales. They're first in custom ag buildings. Check them out on Facebook or YouTube or call them for a free quote today, 888-364-9527. So Ferris with 24 yards rushing already here in the first quarter. Sink has 44. And this time Ethan Fox gets the carry, and he takes it just shy of the 35. They spot him down at the 36 after a 2-yard gain, his first carry of the night.
Mountaineer defender able to get into the legs of Fox just about the time he took that handoff. Fox, nice job to gain that positive yardage.
So it'll bring up third down and about 4.5 yards to go. Cassville so far 1 for 3 on third down conversion tries here in the first half. Down to 1:15 left to go in quarter number 1. Cassville with the 7-0 lead. Wildcats overload to the right side. They run a bit of a Wildcat formation. Sink rolling to his right. Pump fake now under pressure. They grab a handful of face mask and take him to the ground, and a flag comes flying in.
Yep,
they drop him back at the 45, but somebody got a handful of the face mask of Hayden Sink.
Yeah, as the defender tried to reach for Sink, he got the face mask initially, pulled the head. So we'll see what this one is here. Yeah, that's going to be the big one.
So 15-yard penalty against Mount Vernon from the spot of the foul, which is the 45-yard line. So that'll take it all the way down to the Mount Vernon 30. And it'll be another first down for Cassville. The Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal. First in color selection. Check out their gallery at superiormetalsalesinc.com. Just under a minute to go here in the first quarter. The Wildcats with the 7-0 lead. And they've got it first and 10 at the Mount Vernon 30-yard line. Cooper and Reese, your receivers. Fox and Ferris in the backfield. They split behind Sink. They go with the tight end to the left side. That's Killian Barbie. And they run the ball that way. Ferris may have got tripped up right as he was catching the football from the handoff of Sink. And Mount Vernon does a good job of slowing down the momentum over there along the right side. And it's a gain of only about a yard to the 29.
Yeah, and just looking at the play from this angle, looked like that may have been they're trying to run that option around the left edge. Looked like maybe Sink should have pulled that ball and kept it himself. And again, he hasn't played quarterback in a while. That option game just takes some time to read it at full speed. So he'll get better at it, I'll guarantee you.
Looks like the play clock and the game clock are off by about 4 seconds, so Cassville will not have to snap the football, and the first quarter will come to a close. After 12 minutes of play here from Mountaineer Stadium, the Wildcats lead over the Mount Vernon Mountaineers by a score of 7-0. We'll take a break and be back with quarter number 2. You're listening to Big 8 Football here on the Talon Sports Network. Second quarter, Cassville leading 7-0. Tonight's second quarter brought to you by Roark Diesel, just north of Cassville on Highway 7. They're the leader in the region for diesel performance. If your engine is just not right, take it to Roark Diesel Performance. They specialize in diesel performance. Second down and 9 from the Mount Vernon 29-yard line. The Wildcats with possession of the football. Their second drive of the night. Their first one took 7 minutes off the clock. They hand off to Ferris. Ferris gets a nice block at the line of scrimmage, but then a really nice job by the linebacker, Braden Martin, coming through and making a tackle in the open field, dropping Ferris at the 21 at the 26 after a gain of 3.
Yeah, Martin's a nice Nice looking player for the Mountaineers. Linebacker was able to read that play and fill right there and not let Ferris go.
So another third down situation for Cassville. This one 3rd and 6 from the Mount Vernon 26. Just underway here in quarter number 2. Rourke Diesel bringing you the second quarter of tonight's action. Since 2006, they've been providing a huge selection of diesel performance products there in the Cassville and surrounding area. On the ground, the Cassville Wildcats take it right into the heart of the Mount Vernon defense, and Jericho Ferris pounds his way down to the 23. It's a gain of 3, and it'll bring up 4th down.
And looks like bringing the field goal unit out here, and this is a long one from the hash.
He's going to put the tee down at the 31, so a 41-yard field goal attempt from Drake Reese.
And they're going to have to burn a timeout here. Well, no, the play clock. They're good.
Yeah, they've got 12 seconds left on the play clock. So here we go, a 41-yard attempt for Reese. Snap is high. Moeller gets it down on the tee. The kick's a line drive, but it is hooking to the left, and it is no good. Had the distance, but he pulled it a little bit. Never really got it up in the air, and part of that may be because of the high snap, difficulty getting it down on the tee. Moeller did a nice, quick job getting it on the tee, but all of that, we go back to what we were talking about in the pregame. Timing and being in sync. That is a very rhythmic play, and if one little thing gets out of whack, it sometimes throws everything off.
Yeah, absolutely. Your foot can strike that ball just a little bit off, and from that distance and from an angle, it's going to make a big difference. And I don't know that Reese caught that ball as clean as he would like. He did hook just a little bit on him. So those are just things that will get better as the season goes along. We certainly know he's capable of making field goals from any angle out here.
So Mount Vernon will take over at their own 20-yard line after the missed 41-yard field goal attempt by the Wildcats. So Cassville now 1 for 2 scoring here on their first 2 possessions of the night. Mount Vernon had to punt their first possession, and they'll take over where they took over the first time at their own 20, but they are at the opposite end of the field. Mason Bailey has Moore off his right hip, trips to the right side. They give the ball to Moore, and he pounds his way out to the 22, maybe the 23-yard line. He's a big, strong back, Justin Moore, about 210, 215 pounds, and he does pick up about 3 yards. It'll bring up 2nd down and long.
Yeah, the Mountaineers have a couple of those guys, similar in stature, not real tall, but thick. And Moore is one of those, and also Braden Martin, both of them 205, 210 pounds, just low to the ground, strong kids.
They keep the formation with 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, and they run the ball to the short side of the field. And again, it's Moore on the carry, and this time he pounds his way out to the 25-yard line, picks up 2 more yards, and it'll bring up 3rd and 5.
And we have an injured Mountaineer.
Mount Vernon will be faced with their second 3rd down situation. They did not convert their first opportunity, and it'll be 3rd and 5 at their own 25, and the injured player right at the 25-yard line. Coach Cox and the medical staff checking him out. Looks like it's Jacob Montemayor.
Looks like they're looking at one of Montemayor's ankles, maybe. I can't really tell which one. But, boy, I tell you what, you can get twisted up and rolled on in those piles. And I don't know how these offensive linemen, how they don't get injured every single play. The way those bodies just, they get thrown in at the knee level and rolling those ankles. And, be a tough job.
Again, tonight's game brought to you by Tomlin's Jewelry and Gifts on the square in Cassville. When you're looking for a special jewelry or gift item, they've been doing it right for over 55 years. And Sports World at 709 Main Street in Cassville. If you're needing a letterman's jacket or school athletic clothing, they've got it. They can also do screen printing, embroidery. They've got sporting goods, trophies, all at Sports World. Call 847-5366. Injured Mountaineer is to his feet, and he is hobbling over to the sidelines. The good news is he's walking off under his own power. It is very slow, but anytime they can get up and move around without needing assistance or being carried. That is always a good sign. So maybe it's something he will be able to kind of walk off here as we go through the first half. Meanwhile, Mount Vernon facing 3rd and 5 at their own 25.
It looks like the left ankle there is favoring it as he's working his way off the field. Not feeling very good right now, Sammy.
Tonight's second quarter brought to you by Roark Diesel. You can find them online at roarkdiesel.com. If your engine is just not right, bring it to Roark Diesel Performance. They specialize in diesel performance just north of Cassville on Highway 37. 7-0 Wildcats here in the first half. We've got some other scores from around the area, some quick updates. Monette Hollister still no score down in Taney County. Reed Spring has a 14-0 lead over East Newton. Marshfield leads Seneca 14-7. And Webb City Joplin, a big matchup over there in Joplin. 7-7 score between the Cardinals and the Eagles. So here we go, 3rd down and 5 for the Mountaineers. Cassville going with a 3-man front. Bailey has some time, steps up in the pocket, nobody open. Now he's going to try to scramble, coming up with the defensive help, and Bailey diving out to the 30-yard line, and may have picked up the first down with some second effort there. He got hit over on the far side, and that was, I think that was Hernan Hernandez, who came up for the Wildcats and got into the legs of Bailey, but he was able to keep his balance just enough to pick up the first down.
Well, yeah, he did a nice job making contact in the open field right there. Bailey showing some nice athleticism, able to stretch out right at the end of the play, sticking the ball just across the yardage he needed.
So the Mountaineers keep the drive alive, 1st and 10 at their own 30. Bailey this time up under center. They go with a more traditional look. 2 receivers right, 1 left. And the lone setback is Moore. He gets the handoff. Cassville coming up with the defense, trying to take his legs out from under him, and Moore goes over the top. And now a flag comes out at the tail end of the play as Moore finally brought down at about the 35-yard line after a pickup of nearly 5 yards.
Yeah, we'll see what this is.
It looked like they had more dead to rights back around the 31 or 32, but the big running back was able to plow through the initial contact and pick up an extra 2 or 3 yards. And it will be a face mask now against Cassville. So each team has been whistled for a face masking penalty, and it will give the Mountaineers another first down. Moore gets 5 yards on the carry, giving him 11 yards on 4 carries tonight, and it'll move the ball all the way out to the 48-yard line. So 1st and 10 Mount Vernon. Out in the midfield area with 8:45 now left to play here in the first half. Cassville leading 7-0. Cassville goes a 4-man defensive front this time. Mount Vernon back under center with Bailey. Twin receivers to the short side of the field. Bailey looks back to the wide side, throws underneath to Darter. Darter makes the catch at the line of scrimmage. Cooper comes up, misses the tackle, and there goes Darter. He's inside the 40, inside the 30. It's a foot race coming across from the opposite side of the field to make the tackle inside the 20 was Jerome Ewing, but a big first down by Rafe Darter.
Yeah, you knew Darter was going to have an impact at some point in this game, and you see his playmaking ability when he gets the ball in his hands. Fact is, the Wildcats had him in their grasp and just did not finish the tackle. And Darter, great individual effort right there, raced his way all the way across the field towards the Mount Vernon sideline. Ewing saved a touchdown there.
35-yard pickup on the pass completion down to the 17-yard line of the Wildcats. 1st and 10 Mount Vernon. First time they've got inside Cassville territory. They give the ball this time to the other big running back, and that's Braden Martin. And he has stood up as he went head-to-head with the 300-pounder Garrett Kreitz, and Garrett Kreitz won that battle and drove Martin back after a pickup of only about a half a yard.
You could just see Kreitz go to work right there as the ball was snapped. His head and eyes were up. He was able to shuck the offensive lineman and slide over into that hole and just met the big back head on. And, again, I tell you, if Kreitz gets a hold of you, you're going to have a hard time getting away from that. Just a good play there by the big D tackle.
So 2nd down and a long 9. Ball resting just outside the 16-yard line. Mount Vernon goes back to the spread. They've got twin receivers right and left. Bailey looking to the left side, throws underneath, and it bounces in front of Darter. That was just underthrown as Darter and the receiver over there were going to run a little screen, and the ball was underthrown. It'll bring up third down.
Yeah, they had the play set up that they wanted. Bailey just got to step into that throw. He just kind of stepped back and tried to sling it sidearm out there, and just not quite. That's a pretty long throw all the way out there to the hash.
So Mount Vernon facing third down and 9. They're 2 for 3 so far on third down conversion tries. Bailey takes the snap, has some time, looks over the middle, lobs it to Darter. Darter makes the catch down at the 12, turns it upfield, and races into the end zone for the touchdown.
It's a great job there. Slow developing play, and Bailey just waits for Darter to drag across the field. He throws the football a little bit high. Darter just yanked it out of the air with those hands, pulled it down, and worked his way into the end zone. Really nice play there by the Mountaineers. And again, we talked about Darter in the opening, and we've seen him in this drive really hurt the Wildcats.
9-play, 80-yard drive, took 3.5 minutes off the clock. And a 16-yard touchdown completion from Mason Bailey to Rafe Darter gets the Mountaineers on the board, and now they will try to tie it up. Extra point attempt. Snap is bounced, and the holder is able to scoop it up, and that was Dominic Harris and get it on the tee. And the kick is good. As good concentration there by Dominic Dawson. Good job by Dominic Harris to get it off the short hop and get it on the tee. So the two Dominics convert, and this game is tied at 7-7 with 7:01 left to go in the first half.
Got us a football game, Sammy.
Again, tonight's second quarter brought to you by Roark Diesel. They've been providing the Cassville area with a huge selection of diesel performance products since 2006. Find out more by going online, roarkdiesel.com, or call 847-6560. 9-play, 80-yard drive for the Mountaineers have knotted the score here at 7. A couple of big passing plays from Bailey to Darter, and then aided out by a penalty as well, and the Mountaineers have got this thing knotted up at 7. So we'll take a little extra time here as the Mountaineers get ready to kick it away to allow the players to hydrate. This is not the officials' timeout. They're just giving each team a chance to get a little extra drink here on a very warm and humid night. The sun is now down. The lights are starting to take effect here at Mountaineer Stadium. But with the breeze pretty much non-existent right now as the sun is set, it is very warm and humid out there. Brett Cooper, Drake Reese, Jericho Ferris dropping back deep to receive the kickoff of the Mountaineers. And once again, it'll be Dominic Dawson, the big lineman, kicking things off for Mount Vernon. So Dawson tees it up at the 40. Ferris awaits the kick back at his own 10. Dawson gets the whistle. Approaches and boots it away. A good line drive kick, and this one will sail down the right sideline and bounce into the end zone for a touchback. So Cassville will take over at their own 20-yard line with 7:01 left to go in the first half.
A nice kick there, not letting the Wildcats get a return, angled kick down near the pylon. So the Wildcats have about 7 minutes here to get some points on the board.
First drive started at their own 9. They were able to score a touchdown on that one. Then they started at the Mount Vernon 48, stalled out down around the 20, and they had to settle for a field goal try that came up wide to the left. And now Cassville with their third offensive possession of the first half. Got ourselves a new ball game, 7-7 score, and Sink going to operate from the shotgun this time. They got a receiver and a flanker off to the right side. They give the ball to Ferris. Ferris around the right end, big hole, breaks a tackle at the 25, spins his way out to the 29-yard line and nearly picks up the first down. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 1.
Yeah, nice little inside handoff there. Ferris goes around the right edge. Nice footwork, able to step inside a tackle and bounce to the outside before he caught resistance, and he's right at that stake. I don't think they're going to give it to him. It'll be a little bit short here.
Ferris unofficially 40 yards on 9 carries here in the first half. Reese comes out wide to the right side. They go Sink from the shotgun. A slot and a back off his right side. They give to the motion man Cooper. Cooper trying to pick up a block, takes on contact, bouncing off of defenders, and goes out to the 36-yard line and picks up the first down. Good run by Brett Cooper. Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal. They're first in custom ag buildings. You can check them out on Facebook or YouTube, or you can give them a call for a free quote at 888-364-9527.
Yeah, a little jet sweep there with Cooper. Nice job in securing the football. You saw Cooper as he was running into that traffic, put both arms around the football, took a pretty good shot, was able to spin off and maintain that momentum going downfield.
So a 7-yard gain for Cooper. First and 10 Wildcats at their own 36-yard line. Down under 6 minutes now left to go before halftime. They bring Cooper in motion, but they run the ball back against the grain. Sink. He's got a first down across the 45 and spins his way out to about the 48-yard line. Hayden Sink rumbles for a first down, and once again the chains will move for Cassville.
A lot of misdirection, a couple different fakes in the backfield there before Sink took it off the right side, and a nice job lumbering downfield. And just a big quarterback, 230, 240 pounds coming downfield there. He's going to be hard to bring down, and as you said it, another first down for the Wildcats.
13 yards on the gain for Sink, and Sink now has 57 yards unofficially on 7 carries as the Wildcats just shy of midfield. Barbie resets the tight end from the left to the right side, and Cassville going to run the ball that way. They hand it off to Ferris. Ferris with a nice cutback move. He's inside the 45, races down to the 42-yard line. Picks up a nice gain on first down of 7 or 8 yards.
Yeah, just a quick burst as Ferris took the handoff in front of Sink to the right edge. As soon as he got around the end of the offensive line, he put that right foot in the ground, and downfield he went like a bullet. And a nice job again on first down. Wildcats starting in this drive having some more success on first down, bringing up those second short situations.
2nd down and 2 facing Cassville here with 5 minutes left to go in the first half, and it looks like the officials are going to call a timeout to allow the teams to hydrate. Or are they saying Mount Vernon? No, it's going to be Mount Vernon timeout. So this is not an official stoppage. The Mountaineers trying to slow down some of the Wildcat momentum right now. The timeout on the field brought to you by Security Bank of Southwest Missouri. It's time to think about your bank. Do you want mobile banking, ATMs, multiple branches, all types of loans, and still be able to go in the lobby and see your personal banker? You're just described Security Bank of Southwest Missouri. Take time out to look at Security Bank, member FDIC. Scores around the Big 8. Mount Monette has a 6-0 lead at Hollister over the Tigers. McDonald County on top of Aurora over at Kelly Field, 21-14. Reed Spring all over East Newton, 27-0. It's Marshfield leading Seneca, 20-7. Everyone's talking about that Blue Jay team up at Marshfield. Were much improved last year and looked to get a lot of players back, and they are leading Seneca 20-7 in the first half. Also, 0-0 score between Lamar and Catholic. That score was from early in that game. And Nevada has an early 8-6 lead over Rogersville. And the big battle over in Joplin between the Cardinals and the Joplin Eagles, 14-13 now, Joplin with the advantage. Of course, Joplin handed Webb City their only loss a year ago in Week 3, and now those two teams meet to open up the season. We were talking about that on the way over here tonight. That's another thing that the coronavirus has hampered is the ability to fans to be able to go out and watch football games. We've seen the limited capacity here tonight. There's all types of rules and regulations you have to follow. With some places, you have to wear masks to be able to go into the stadiums. Some places are not allowing fans at all. They're allowing them to sit outside the stadium chain link fence, but not inside the stadium. That ball game, if that was played in a regular atmosphere at Jung Stadium or at Webb City at Cardinal Stadium, there'd be 10,000 to 15,000 people there. They are allowing only 2,000 to watch that game tonight. On 2nd down and short, the ball popped up in the air, and Sink is able to corral it, and he takes it around the right end and runs for a first down the Cassville sideline. Good job by Sink once again, keeping his concentration, moving the chains. The Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal. They're first in all your farm building needs. You can check them out online for examples of what they can do and how to build a custom building for you. SuperiorMetalSalesInc.com.
Yeah, high snap right there. Sink just kind of batted the ball straight up. Very calm, let the ball come down to him, took a look at the defense, and right around the right edge, heading towards that Wildcat sideline. Just a heads-up play.
It's a gain of 11 down to the 36-yard line of the Mountaineers. Cassville again with the ground attack. Around the short side they go this time. And Jericho Ferris with another quick hitter inside the 30. Looks like they're going to spot him down at the 28 for another 8-yard pickup. And, boy, you'll take those 7- and 8-yard runs on first down all night long.
All night long, and the Wildcats having a lot of success right now running off the right side. They're getting a good push up front over there, and Ferris and Sink are taking advantage of that right now.
It allows Coach Clay Weldy, the offensive coordinator, to kind of open up the playbook a little bit when you're facing second down and 1 or 2, and that's what the Wildcats are facing here. Although they're going to keep it steady and strong, they give it to Ferris, and this time, good job by the defense of the Mountaineers as one of the linemen slipped through a crack and was able to get Ferris for no gain on the play.
Yeah, it just looked like missed assignment up front, and a good play by the defensive line right there. Ferris able to look like maybe get back right to that line of scrimmage.
So third down and about 3 yards to go. Just a little less than 3, actually. They have to get to the 25 to pick up the first down. Cassville 1 for 5 on third down conversion tries here tonight. They converted their second third down opportunity of the night, and since then they've been 0 for. See what they can do here. Sink looks like a busted play, but he's going to pick up the first down as he goes in beside his big offensive line and pushes his way down to the 25-yard line, and once again the chains will move for Cassville.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a strange-looking play, but I don't know that it was necessarily busted. I think it was a design kind of quarterback draw for Sink in that short yardage situation right there. But you're right, it looked a little strange there, like maybe the running back was supposed to go a different way to block. And
maybe that was it, because it almost looked like he wanted to hand it to somebody for a minute, but there, you might be right on that. You may hit the nail right on the head. He was waiting for one of those backs to get in front and pick up a block before he proceeded.
Yeah.
So 1st and 10 Cassville at the 25-yard line. Inside handoff goes to Cooper. A nice quick hitter around the left end this time, and Cooper sidesteps one defender and leaps over another down to the 17-yard line.
We've seen Cooper run the ball a couple of times here and very quick on his feet, very shifty. Nice job there as he came in front on kind of that wide receiver sweep, took the handoff, and when he saw an opportunity to dart downfield, he didn't waste any time. He didn't try to run to the sideline. He just put that foot in the ground, and downfield he went. Another nice gain on first down here.
Doesn't get the most favorable spot. It's a gain of 7 instead of 8 yards. Second down and 3 at the Mount Vernon 18-yard line. Cooper and Reese, the receiver, split right and left. Sink from the shotgun. Gives it to Ferris. Ferris around the right end, trying to get away from a defender, but good job by one of the linebackers of Mount Vernon, and that was Alex Watts as he come blasting through on that left side of the defense, right side of the Wildcat offense, and got into the legs of Ferris and drops him back at the 19. A loss of 1, it'll bring up 3rd and 5.
Well, the Mountaineer defense starting to see that formation, starting to cheat out there just a little bit. Look for the Wildcats maybe to run some kind of counter back against the grain off of that set.
So another third down for Cassville with 1:50 left to go in the first half. 7-7 ball game. Inside handoff after a high snap goes to Cooper, and this time he is wrapped up. One of the line judges is going to give him progress to the 18, but that is going to be it, and it's going to bring up 4th down and 4.
See what the Wildcats want to do right here. Ball right in the middle of the football field, or nearly in the middle. We'll see if they want to keep the offense out or let Reese take another crack at it. And it looks like Wildcats are going to go for it right here.
This will be the 12th play of the drive, 4th down and 3 from the Mount Vernon 18.5-yard line.
See if the Wildcats try a hard count right here, see if they get the Mountaineers to jump, or see what happens.
Correction, 17.5-yard line. Well, they fake the inside handoff this time to Cooper, and Sink is going to try to fight for the first down. It looks like he's going to come up a yard short. He got by one guy and then powered his way through another, but the third defender was able to stop him at the 16-yard line, and he needed to get to the 15.
Mountaineers able to stop the Wildcats. 1 minute and 2 seconds to go till halftime here. They've got a long way to go. The Mountaineers will get the ball coming out after half here. So the Wildcats really need to keep an eye on Rafe Darter here. Do not let that young man get behind you. Definite big play capability.
62 seconds left before the break. 7-7 our score. Mount Vernon having to scramble. The play clock still plenty of time, though, as they're trying to get a formation set up. Looks to be a little bit of confusion out there, but they do have some time to work with. Now they reset things, and the play clock started. Mason Bailey from the shotgun. He's got twin receivers right and left. Now they're going to come and reset the formation, bring everything in tight. Lone receiver out to the left is Darter, so they'll have to keep an eye on him. They run the ball, though, on first down. They give it to Moore, and Moore is wrapped up right at the line of scrimmage, trying to fight his way around the right end. No gain on the play, and they'll bring up 2nd and 10.
And nice play there. Linebacker DN Miller, Justin Miller.
.30 left to go here in the half, and Cassville gets the ball out, or excuse me, Mount Vernon gets the ball out to the left side as they throw the ball to Presnall, and he is brought down just as he crosses the 20 to the 21. It's a gain of 5.
And the Wildcats were able to keep him in bounds, and so this clock continues to run.
Second catch of the night for Peyton Presnall, and it'll bring up 3rd down and nearly 6 to go. Mount Vernon's 2 for 4 so far in 3rd down conversion tries. And it looks like the Mountaineers are going to try to snap it maybe right as the time expires, and they are going to run one more play before the half comes to a close. Bailey tucks it and runs. He's across the 30, has the first down. He's out across the 40, but is dropped before he can get to the 45. He picks up a first down, but that will be the final play of the first half. And as they head to the locker room, it's Cassville 7, Mount Vernon 7. And we will take a break and be back with the Shoemaker Tire Halftime Show. You're listening to Big 8 Conference Football here on the Talon Network. Shoemaker Tire, their family-owned and operated Shoemaker Tire in Golden, Missouri, serving customers in southwest Missouri and northwest Arkansas since 1961. 7-7 is our score here at the break. Cassville got the ball first and drove the ball right down the field and punched it into the end zone. A 16-play, 91-yard drive that took 7 minutes off the clock. It was capped off by a 1-yard run by Jericho Ferris. The point after by Drake Reese gave the Wildcats the early 7-0 lead. Then after Cassville missed a field goal attempt and was turned over on downs, Mount Vernon was able to, on their second possession of the night, move the ball 9 plays, 80 yards, and they score on a 16-yard pass from Mason Bailey to Rafe Darter. The PAT by Dominic Dawson was good, and we were tied at 7, and that's the way we end the first half. 7-7 our score. Cassville leading in the stat category, but the Mountaineers have the score tied on the scoreboard here at halftime.
Yeah, just it's kind of strange that both teams, still seem to be kind of feeling each other out a little bit. The Wildcats are moving the football, and we talked a little bit during the break. They're just not finishing the drives. They're able to move the football down the field, and Mount Vernon's kind of got that bend but don't break defense right now, and Wildcats just going to have to go in here at halftime and get together, figure out how to finish these drives off.
Tonight's game is not only a competitive contest between these two schools, it's also an educational experience for the students involved because high school activities are about learning life's values. Everyone throughout the area reminds you to do your part to keep your hometown sports a positive experience. When you attend your next game, do your part to help rekindle the spirit of citizenship by showing good sportsmanship. You'll be teaching a positive lesson, and you'll be preserving a proud tradition in the state of Missouri. The sportsmanship reminder brought to you by Access Family Care with locations in Cassville, Neosho, Aurora, Mount Vernon, and Joplin. 7-7 our halftime score. Halftime brought to you by Shoemaker Tire. Over 50 years of taking care of their customers like no one else. Call Shoemaker Tire at 417-271-3490, or you can find them online at shoemakertire.com or drop by and see the gang at Shoemaker Tire, Highway 86 in Golden. 7-7 our score. We'll be back with more of the Shoemaker Tire halftime show after this. You're listening to Big 8 Football on the Talon Sports Network. Back at Mount Vernon, we've got a 7-7 ball game here at halftime. The Shoemaker Tire halftime show continues. Shoemaker Tire, people you can trust for tires. They're located at Highway 86 in Golden, Missouri. Mark and the gang will have you up and running when you need a new set of tires in no time flat or when you just have no time for a flat. Shoemaker Tire, Highway 86 in Golden. Find them online at shoemakertire.com or give them a call at 417-271-3490. Other games around the Big Eight, Monette at Hollister leading the Tigers 12-0. McDonald County has a 21-14 lead over Aurora. That game played over at Kelly Field. Reed Spring has opened up a 33-0 lead over East Newton at halftime. That's a little bit surprising. I thought that would be a little bit more of a battle between the Patriots and the Wolves. Marshfield on top of Seneca, 20-14, a good one there up in Webster County. Lamar and Catholic, we have not got a score since the first quarter, and it was 0-0 between the Irish and the Tigers. Nevada and Rogersville, that also a first quarter score. Nevada leading Rogersville 8-6. And the big battle over in Joplin between Webb City and the Joplin Eagles. Webb City now back on top, 25-20, late in the first half.
That's a barn burner over there. That's going to be an interesting finish.
It definitely will. Last year, the Eagles beating Webb City, handing the Cardinals their only loss, and Webb City went on to win their 15th state championship. This past one in Class 4, and Joplin went all the way and finished runner-up in Class 6 a year ago. So. Two big teams over there in that area. It's been a long time since Joplin and Webb City have both been this good.
Right.
And they go head-to-head to open up the season. Looking at some of the stats from tonight's first half, we'll start off with the home team. The Mount Vernon Mountaineers ran the ball 9 times for 35 yards. They completed 4 of 6 passes for 66 yards for a total of 101 yards of offense. Mountaineers picked up 5 first downs, did not turn it over. They were penalized once for 15 yards and did not punt. Cassville, 27 rushes for 145 yards. They completed 3 of 4 passes for a total of 52 yards, so the Wildcats with 197 total yards of offense. They picked up 10 first downs, did not turn the ball over, penalized 3 times for 25 yards, and they also did not punt. It's been a while since we went through a whole half and haven't seen a punt, but we just saw it here tonight.
The Mountaineers did punt, but there was a penalty on the play.
It was,
right?
yes.
Yes, so, yeah, neither side.
No official punt.
Nobody's having to punt tonight.
Looking at some of the individual stats from the first half for Mount Vernon, Mason Bailey, the Mountaineer quarterback, ran 3 times for 20 yards, and it was Justin Moore with 5 carries for 14 yards. Bailey completed 4 of 6 passes for a touchdown, and 2 catches from Peyton Presnall for 15 yards, and Rafe Darter has 2 catches for 51 yards and a touchdown. For Cassville, the quarterback for the Wildcats, Hayden Sink, carried the ball 10 times for 73 yards. Jericho Ferris has 13 carries for 55 yards and a touchdown. Ethan Fox, 1 carry for 2 yards, and Brett Cooper, 3 carries for 15 yards. Cooper also has 2 catches for 43 yards, and Jericho Ferris has 1 catch for 9 yards in the first half.
The Wildcats trying to spread it around a little bit, certainly keying on trying to run the football, establish the line of scrimmage, and they've done that pretty well. I mean, they've kept the ball a long time in the first half, especially there in the first quarter. Again, it just comes down to success on first down and just finishing the drives, getting points out of these drives.
Yeah, the Wildcats with 36 plays in the first half compared to Mount Vernon's 16, and the Wildcats with 17 minutes of time of possession, Mount Vernon only 7.
Yep, yeah, the Wildcats have dominated there. If you just looked at that, you think they would there'd be a little bit of difference in the scoreboard right now. But if the Wildcats can get some things shored up here, talk about it at halftime, come out and just keep playing their game, they'll start finishing some of these drives off, I believe.
Yeah, the Mountaineers, after giving up that early touchdown, then you got to give their defense a little credit.
Absolutely.
They were able to stiffen. They were bending, but they didn't break, and they were able to stop them and keep them out of the end zone and force them into some other things, and Cassville was unable to convert.
Well, and they did a nice job. Coach Cox and his staff did a nice job of making some adjustments on the fly. Wildcats were kind of gashing the Mountaineers off that right side, moving their way down the field, and then they made some adjustments. They called a timeout, made some adjustments, and got the Wildcats off the field.
Again, it's 7-7 here at halftime at Mountaineer Stadium. Tonight's halftime show brought to you by Shoemaker Tire, family-owned and operated. Shoemaker Tire, Highway 86 in Golden, Missouri. They've been serving their customers in southwest Missouri and northwest Arkansas since 1961. We're going to take another break, and we will be getting close to the start of the second half. 7-7 ball game here between the Wildcats and the Mountaineers. You're listening to Big 8 Football on the Talon Sports Network. The Mount Vernon Mountaineers are out going through their warm-ups to get ready to start the third quarter. Cassville just making their way out of the locker room as well. Tonight's ball game brought to you in part by Tomlin's Jewelry and Gifts on the square in Cassville. Remember to order your art-carved and gold lance class rings at affordable prices at Tomlin's Jewelry and Gifts on the northeast corner of the Cassville Square. Also on the square in Cassville, Sports World. If you're looking for screen printing or embroidery done on T-shirts, jackets, uniforms, caps, they can do all of that. They've got in-stock school athletic clothing. They've got Letterman's jackets, trophies, and sporting goods, all at Sports World, 709 Main Street on the square in Cassville. Call 847-5366. A couple of minutes left before we start the third quarter. We'll step aside one more time and be back with the second half kickoff. You're listening to the Cassville Wildcats and the Mount Vernon Mountaineers here on the Talon Sports Network. Sammy Clapper and Jeremy Marple back here at Mount Vernon. Todd Speakman running the camera for us on CassvilleWebTV.com. We're about set to start the third quarter. The Wildcats and the Mountaineers all tied 7 points apiece as we get set to start the second half. Tonight's third quarter brought to you by J&M Pallet Company, where with over 15 years of experience, they specialize in new, used, and custom-built pallets. They're backing the Wildcats all the way. Jeff, an avid Wildcat supporter, and J&M Pallet Company with the motto, "In God We Trust." You can give them a call for all your pallet needs at 847-6732. That's 847-6732. J&M Pallet Company bringing you tonight's third quarter. Well, Mount Vernon won the opening toss to start the night, and they deferred their option to the second half. So the Mountaineers will get the football to start the third period of play. Cassville scored on their first possession of the night. Mount Vernon scored on their second possession of the night, and the Mountaineers will get the football here to start quarter number 3. And Drake Reese set to kick it away. Wildcat kickoff brought to you by Baywash. Baywash Car Wash in Cassville. Come try out the all-new IQ Soft Cloth Automatic, featuring custom wash technology, giving you the perfect wash every time. A clean car is a happy car, and that makes you feel good. Reese gets a good leg into this one, angles it towards the right hash, and it will sail over the head of the return man, Chase Strong, and into the end zone for a touchback.
Yeah, nice job there, Drake Reese. Start this second half for the Wildcats. Defense comes onto the field, looking to get that ball back for this Wildcat offense. Get some points on the board.
We talked about no punts in the first half, no turnovers in the first half either. Both teams had some costly penalties, but other than that, pretty cleanly played first half of football. We'll see if that continues here in the second half. Mason Bailey from the shotgun. Receiver split right and left. He's got twins to both sides. and Moore off of his right hip. He fakes the handoff to the motion man, gives it off to Moore, and Moore trying to pick his way through the Cassville defense, fights his way back and forth, and just picks up about 3 or 4 yards.
As this game goes on, Sammy, and moves along, gets later in this game, we'll see who took the time to hydrate and who did not. As so far in this game, knock on wood, we haven't really seen any cramping issues on either side. I anticipate a little bit of that here in this second half, and we'll just see who it impacts.
It was a gain of 4 for Moore. And it'll bring up a 2nd down and 6 for the Mountaineers. Man comes in motion. High snap to Bailey. Bailey again gives the inside handoff to Moore. Moore's got the edge, and he's across the 40. He's across the 45. A flag thrown at the tail end of the play as he takes it out across the 35-yard line, close to the 40 before he is wrestled out of bounds. See what the flag is all about over there on the Cassville sideline. Good job by Moore once he got to the edge. Quick burst of speed across the 30 and out across the 35. And it will be a sideline warding. So Moore gets credit out to the 40-yard line. A gain of 16 yards and a Mount Vernon first down. So Justin Moore now on that big carry has 34 yards unofficially on 7 carries on the night. Picks up a Mount Vernon first down. Play clock down to 7 seconds. Mountaineers are going to have to hurry to get this play off. Motion man, fake handoff to him. Again, they give the ball to the running back, and again, it's Justin Moore. Big guy getting a lot of work here to start the second half. Plows his way out just short of the 44-yard line. Picks up 4 more yards.
Well, the Mountaineers started the football game. Looked like they were going to spread the Wildcats out, throw it around, and create some space for these athletes. And since that opening drive, they've really spent more time trying to run the football and maintain the football and time of possession. So they're really trying to run the football here. And as we see them roll to the right, looking to pass.
Bailey having to scramble back to his left. He throws over the middle, and Rafe Darter doing a good job coming back to the football and helping his quarterback out. Makes the catch out at the 40-yard or 48-yard line and picks up 4 yards. It'll bring up 3rd down and 2.
A lot of time there for Bailey. Rolling to his right, had a ton of time to look downfield. Good job up front by the Mountaineers, keeping the pressure off. And Darter, as you said, just worked his way back towards the quarterback and got open right in the middle of the field.
And that's the thing you always have to be aware of as a defense, because they're pounding with Moore up the middle, kind of a between the tackle style of play, but you always got to worry about number 15 out there on the edge. This time they bunch everyone in between the hash marks, and they give it off to Moore on the 3rd down and short, and it's kind of a student body right up the middle. And they pick up the first down into Cassville territory as the pile pushes all the way down to the Wildcat 46.
Yeah, they just hustled out of the huddle, right up, got on the ball, and just everybody grinding down the field and picked up another first down just right at the heart of this Wildcat defense.
44 yards now for Moore on 9 carries. And the Mountaineers convert on 3rd down. It was 3rd down and 2, and they were able to pick up nearly 6 yards. 1st and 10 Mount Vernon at the Cassville 46, just underway here in the second half, early on in the 3rd quarter, 7-7 ball game. Trips to the right side this time for Mount Vernon. Darter, the lone receiver, out to the left. Bailey looks that way, throws to him, and nearly knocked down as Cooper trying to arrive just as the football did, but Darter was able to hang on, and he picks up about 2 or 3 yards.
Yeah, dangerous throw there by Bailey. Darter made a great play, taking on contact. Cooper arriving right as the football got there. Looked like Cooper got a hand in there on the ball, and Darter able to snatch it and bring it in. Again, we talk about Darter. His ability to catch the football is very impressive. I mean, he's a big-time receiver.
Yeah, he's continued to grow. He's about 6'2" or 3", so he's got really good size. But what we've really seen the last year or so is his body is starting to fill out now, too. He's got the strength to go along with that length. Bailey gives the ball off to Moore. Moore breaks a tackle as he busts out of the pile and takes it inside the 40 and picks up an extra 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah, just strong running right there, no quit, driving those legs. Looked like the Wildcats had them stopped right around the 40. He's able to squirt out of there, nearly picking up that first down.
So it'll bring up 3rd down and 1 now for the Mountaineers at the Cassville 37-yard line. Justin Moore able to slip through a couple of would-be tacklers, and Bailey on the quarterback keeper dives right in behind his center and picks up the first down inside the 35 down to the 34-yard line. Looks like they're going to give him all the way down to the 33, so a really good spot there for Bailey.
And kind of a tale of two halves, as now the Mountaineers are taking the first drive of the half and really eating up a lot of clock and just working their way down the field.
Now they've already held the ball for over 4 minutes, and they've got it 1st and 10 at the Cassville 33. Bailey up under center this time. Cassville stays with the 3-man front. Bailey wanting to throw. Now he has to scramble to his left, has a little time, sets up, throws it complete down inside the 20-yard line. And again, it's Rafe Darter coming back to his quarterback and helping him out, and Bailey was able to find him over there on the Cassville sideline.
Yeah, Bailey and Darter are really in sync right now. You can tell that those two have spent a lot of time throwing and catching footballs, and they just kind of know what each other is thinking right there. And Bailey leaking out, the route's kind of breaking down. Darter seeing that, finding a little soft spot over on the Wildcat sideline. Bailey just delivering the ball right to him for another completion.
It's a gain of 14, 1st and 10 Mount Vernon at the Cassville 19-yard line. Darter now with 5 catches for 72 yards and a touchdown, as we are not quite 5 minutes into the second half. Motion man, fake the handoff to him. Bailey going to run the football. Bailey makes a cutback at the 20, moves it down inside the 15, so a decent pickup on first down for the Mountaineer quarterback.
Wildcat defense right now looking a little winded, a little tired, been on the field a long time, coming out after half. And the Mountaineers now taking their time, running that play clock down in no hurry. Tie football game, 7-7 here.
Football spotted just between the 14 and the 15 of the Cassville Wildcats. Now they spread things back out again. Twin receivers right and left. Bailey from the shotgun. Cassville showing blitz. Here they come. Bailey tries to get through, and he drops the football, but he picks it back up at the 15-yard line and avoids the turnover.
Well, really nice play there. Play called defensively. Wildcats bring a little pressure from the linebackers. Little stunt there, getting in the backfield. I believe that it was Killian Barbie, able to get through on the backside and really disrupt the play and nearly cause a turnover.
No gain on the play, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 6 from the 15. Mount Vernon 1 for 2 so far on 3rd down conversion attempts this drive. 7-7 ball game, and the Mountaineers have taken 6 minutes off the clock at this point. And it looks like they may be going to let the play clock and game clock run down and then call a timeout, and they are. So Coach Cox wants to talk things over here on this 3rd and long. The timeout on the field brought to you by Security Bank of Southwest Missouri. Security Bank, they've got mobile banking, ATMs, multiple branches, all types of loans, and you can still go into the lobby and see your personal banker. Security Bank of Southwest Missouri. Take time out to look at Security Bank, member FDIC. 7-7 our score. Mount Vernon with a lengthy drive to start the second half, just as Cassville had a lengthy drive to start the first half. And we will yet to see how this one will end. The third quarter tonight brought to you by J&M Pallet Company. With the motto, "In God We Trust." Remember, during the third quarters of your life, praise God whether you win or lose and give him the victory. Phone Jeff for all your pallet needs at 847-6732. That's 847-6732. Tonight's game also brought to you in part by Tomlin's Jewelry and Gifts. If you're looking for a unique gift item, or maybe you're needing a class ring from Art Carved or Gold Lance, you can order those at Tomlin's Jewelry and Gift. They've been doing it right for over 55 years, located on the northeast corner of the Cassville Square. And Sports World, also right there on the square in Cassville, on the east side of the square. For screen printing, embroidery, sporting goods, school athletic clothing, call 847-5366 or drop by 709 Main Street in Cassville. Score updates: halftime, Monette over Hollister 12-0. Another halftime score, Aurora leading McDonald County as the Hound Dogs have come back on the Mustangs and taken the lead 28-21. Reed Spring all over East Newton 41-0. Marshfield 27-14 on top of Seneca at the half. Lamar and Catholic, Tigers leading the Irish right now 14-0. It's Nevada over Rogersville 20-6. And the back and forth seesaw battle between Webb City and Joplin, the Eagles back on top of the Cardinals 27-25. And maybe one of those, who has the football last? Last year it was 35-28, Joplin with the win. They've already nearly surpassed that point total, and they're still in the first half.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, this water break, if that's what they took the extended time out there for, couldn't have come at a better time for this Wildcat defense, especially those big boys on the defensive line. They were starting to, you could tell, you see some hands on hips and really sucking for air in this humid August night.
So here we go, 3rd down and 6. Mount Vernon with the football at the Cassville 15-yard line. Man comes in motion, passes in front of Bailey. Bailey, straight drop, throws underneath. He's got a man wide open coming out of the backfield. It's Moore, and Moore makes the catch and takes it in for the score, and Mount Vernon takes their first lead of the night.
Yeah, somebody missed an assignment there as Moore was wide open swinging out of the backfield. Nobody picked him up, and he just swung out of the backfield, and an easy throw from Bailey, and Moore did the rest on into the end zone.
A 15-yard touchdown pass from Mason Bailey to Justin Moore. And the Mountaineers are on top 13-7, and now the extra point try from Dominic Dawson. A 12-play, 80-yard drive. And we've got whistles at the snap of the football. The kick was wide to the right, but we'll see what the flag is about over here on the near sideline. It's an encroachment on the defense, so they'll go half the distance to the goal and then retry the extra point. We'll see if Coach Cox maybe wants to try for 2 here now that he's gotten a little closer, but right now Dawson is placing the tee back down on the turf. The holder for the Mountaineers is Dominic Harris. The kicker for the Mountaineers, Dominic Dawson, so we'll try to keep those Dominics straight for you here.
Interesting.
Okay, so somebody lined up in the neutral zone is what happened.
Okay.
They were saying encroachment, but actually somebody lined up in the neutral zone, so that's a dead ball foul. So they will replay the extra point try. Now the snap is back a little low, but they get it up on the tee, and the kick by Dawson is no good. So it remains 13-7. Mount Vernon on top with 5:47 left to go in the third quarter. Again, tonight's third quarter brought to you by J&M Pallet Company, where pallets are customized to fit your needs. Their motto is "In God We Trust." Jeff and avid Wildcat supporters just a call away at 847-6732. So, will the missed extra point turn out to be something later on in this ball game?
Special teams, we see it all the time. Special teams can win or lose you a football game. Not saying that will have an impact in the outcome, but it certainly could.
Next up for Cassville, they will be at home next week, taking on the Marshfield Blue Jays. And right now, Marshfield leading over Seneca 27-14. Good news is they don't have to make that long trip up I-44 to Webster County, but if this score remains the same, it looks like a pretty good football team coming down to Berry County.
Yeah, we really don't know a whole lot about them, other than what you might be able to read in one of the previews that are out there. But yeah, kind of a new opponent for the Wildcats.
Of course, they've still got a quarter and a half of football left here, and
Exactly.
they find themselves trailing now for the first time tonight.
Yeah, no need to look ahead just yet.
Dominic Dawson will kick it away, and Jericho Ferris back at his own 5 awaiting the kick. A good leg by Dawson, and he takes this over the head and into the end zone. Went over the head of Ferris and another touchback. So the Wildcats will take over at their own 20-yard line. Both of these teams possessing very fine kickers. And the Wildcats with their first possession of the second half, and only 5:47 left to go in the third quarter. 6 minutes and 15 seconds taken off the clock by the Mountaineers. Cassville had done to them the same thing they did to the Mountaineers to start the first half.
Exactly. This Wildcat offense has been off the field a long time.
Wildcats break huddle, send twin receivers out to the left side. That is Reese and Cooper. Split the backfield behind Hayden Sink. Sink fakes the handoff, tries to run it himself, and runs into a wall of green and white after a gain of only a yard to the 21.
Trying to run a little quarterback lead there. Maybe a little option game around the left. As the first man through was stuffed at the line of scrimmage, Sink tries to pull the football and just kind of turn up behind him. And just a wall of green and white. And he's unable to move the football at all.
So second down and a long 9 now facing Cassville. And this time they give the ball to Ferris in open space, and he's got the first down and more, and tripped up along the sidelines out around the 35-yard line. Ferris turned on the burners once he got to the edge and picked up the first down, the Wildcat first down. Brought to you by Superior Metal Sales. They're first in all your farm building needs. They're first in commercial as well. You can call them for a free quote at 888-364-9527.
Yeah, nice play there. A little toss sweep to Ferris around the right edge. He went right down that Wildcat sideline, jumped a defender before he was ultimately knocked out of bounds. But a nice run, good burst of speed.
15-yard pickup for Jericho Ferris. First and 10, Cassville. And the Wildcats continue with the ground game, and they plow straight up the middle and are stopped just shy of the 40-yard line at the 39. Ferris again on the carry is able to pick up 4 yards. Ferris now over 70 yards here in the night, 73 yards unofficially on 15 carries.
We saw the Wildcats in the first half throw the football just a little bit, had some success in the screen game. I haven't seen them go downfield much. One time, ball's a little underthrown. But we have not, the Wildcats have not thrown the ball just a whole lot in this game.
So second down and long, and there goes Hayden Sink, and he runs through a couple of tacklers, picks up the first down, hurdles over another, takes it into Mount Vernon territory, across the 50, inside the 45, and another first down for the Wildcats at the Mount Vernon 43-yard line. Big, strong run by Hayden Sink, and the Cassville first down brought to you by Superior Metal. They're first in metal roofing. Look them up on Facebook or YouTube and request a free quote.
Yeah, big quarterback, just that quarterback sweep going around the right edge, heading towards that Wildcat sideline. And he takes such long strides, it doesn't look like he's moving very fast, but he's eating up some ground every time he takes a step. And another good, strong run.
19 yards on the carry from Sink. First and 10, Cassville. They give him the spot at the Mount Vernon 42. Back to Jericho Ferris, and Ferris a quick hitter off the left side. Ducks and slides inside the 40, down to the 38, gains 4 yards.
Wildcats now mixing up a little bit here in the run game, stretching the defense, going wide, and then coming right back with some smash mouth. So trying to keep the Mountaineers guessing a little bit here. He's doing a pretty good job in this series.
That previous run by Sink has him closing in on the century mark here in tonight's ball game, unofficially 93 yards on 12 carries. Second down and 6 for the Wildcats at the Mount Vernon 38. Twin receivers to the left this time, split backfield. Here comes Darter on a delayed blitz. Sink is going to keep it himself, sidesteps a guy in the backfield, gets back to the line of scrimmage, but then can gain no further yardage. And we got a flag at the end of the play as Sink was stopped right at the 38. We'll see what the flag is about. And we've got an injured Mountaineer as well. So all kinds of things going on out there.
Usually those flags right at the tail end of plays, they're not good penalties.
Someone's usually into a little extracurricular activities.
Yeah, and we'll just see which side it's on here. And there's a Mountaineer defender. He's up. His teammates helping him off.
And that's the kicker, Dominic Dawson. So
yeah.
We'll see if that affects anything. So the penalty will be against Cassville on an illegal block. So that will mark off 10 yards against the Wildcats. 4 flags against Cassville for a total of 35 yards this evening. And it will move the ball back to the 48-yard line.
Yeah, it looked like right there at the tail end of the play. And players kind of standing and pushing, and looked like somebody might have hit somebody in the back there at the tail end. And hard to see from all the way up here, and you know, you've played, we've all played, and a lot of things happen in those scrums that nobody ever will see.
Yeah, exactly.
And we don't want to talk about it either.
Second down and 16 after the 10-yard penalty. Sink wanting to throw. Now he's forced out of the pocket, having to scramble. And he gets out to the 47-yard line. Now we got a flag, and we've got more flags being thrown as someone gave a little extra shove to Sink. And we've got both sides jawing with each other and flags flying everywhere. That's the most laundry we've seen on the turf tonight, and the officials are going to have to sort this one out. Sink was able to get to the 47, pick up a yard, and then as he was fighting for extra yardage, a couple of Mountaineer defenders came in to help out, and then things got a little wild and crazy there for a moment. So the officiating crew going over what's happening. Right now they're talking to Bailey on the Mount Vernon side. So that does not look good for the Wildcats. We got 2 fouls. Personal foul against Mount Vernon. Personal foul against Cassville. So the penalties will offset. And it will be 3rd down and 16 from the Mount Vernon 48-yard line.
You know, Sammy, when these two teams get together, I mean, it's always a rough physical football game, and you know what? Tempers flare in games like that. You know, things maybe being said, things happening on the bottom of piles. It's just an emotional game. You don't like to see plays like that, but hey, in a game like this, they happen, and we've got a tight one here, and cooler heads need to prevail.
So 3rd down and 16. Cassville trying to set up a screen again, and the pass is thrown short, trying to go underneath the Cooper. Incomplete, and it'll bring up 4th down. And it looks like we're going to see our first punt of the night. This is not our first punt attempt. Mount Vernon had a punt attempt back in the first half, but it was all negated by a penalty. So now we'll see if the Wildcats can get this one away.
Wildcats trying to set up that little bubble screen to Cooper, and look like Sink may have rushed it just a little bit, felt that heat, tried to get rid of it. Not a terribly accurate throw, and Cooper just not able to handle it. I don't know that Wildcats could have got much out of it if he did.
So Drake Reese with the kick. It is a high kick, way up into the night sky, bounces at the 15, and then bounces right back into the Mount Vernon return man. He had backed away from it, but then he found the ball coming right in his face, and it's Mason Bailey, and he takes it out to the 21-yard line and returns it about 8 yards, and it'll be 1st and 10 Mountaineers.
Yeah, nice job there by Bailey. Very patient, kind of checking out the coverage unit, let that ball bounce one time, and it just happened to catch and bounce right to him. If he doesn't pick that up, that ball's going to end up down around the goal line. So a heads-up play by the Mount Vernon return man.
So Cassville had the ball for 4 minutes, but they have to punt it away, our first punt of the night. Ends up being a 37-yard kick and an 8-yard return. Mount Vernon football, they give the ball to Justin Moore, trying to fight off would-be tacklers. Spins away from one man and picks up a yard, maybe 2, out to the 23.
Yeah, nice job there on the defensive line by the Wildcats. Also linebacking core coming up and making a play on the big back.
It looks like they say his knee touched down at the 22, so it's a gain of only 1. And it'll bring up 2nd down and 9. We're down to 1:50 left to go here in the 3rd quarter. 13-7, Mount Vernon with the lead over the Cassville Wildcats. They spread the field out now and go with twin backs, flanking Bailey, who is lining up in the shotgun. Pass goes underneath to Darter. Darter makes the catch at the 28. Quick turn upfield across the 30, and he picks up the 1st down.
And I think we've got a Wildcat down here. And we do. In on the tackle on Darter. I'm not sure who the player is.
It was a gain of 9 out to the 31-yard line. 1st and 10 Mount Vernon, and we are going to have a stoppage. Clock stopped at the 1:32 left to go here in quarter number 3. Again, tonight's 3rd quarter brought to you by J&M Pallet Company with the motto, "In God We Trust." Remember, during the 3rd quarters of your life, praise God whether you win or lose and give him the victory. Phone Jeff for all your pallet needs at 847-6732. They specialize in new, used, and custom-built pallets at J&M Pallet Company in Cassville. We'll go ahead and take a quick break here while they attended to the injured Wildcat. You're listening to Big 8 Football here on the Talon Network. Marple back here at Mount Vernon. The Mountaineers lead the Wildcats 13-7. The injured Wildcat was Drake Reese, and what are the odds of that happening on the same drive? Cassville getting their kicker hurt and Mount Vernon getting their kicker hurt.
Yeah, just a leg injury to the Mount Vernon kicker. Not sure, as Reese walked off, didn't appear to be anything wrong with his legs, but they were looking somewhere, I don't know if shoulder, collarbone, somewhere in the upper extremities, so we'll have to wait and see.
So 1st and 10 Mount Vernon at their own 31-yard line. They bunch the receivers into a little cluster out here on the right side. And Bailey fakes the handoff to Moore, and he's going to run it to the short side of the field, trying to catch the Cassville defense unbalanced. And good job by the guys on the backside there for Cassville as they race Bailey out of bounds over on the Cassville sideline.
Yeah, I think that was Cooper that was able to get into his legs and force him out of bounds. But Bailey done a nice job of running this offense tonight for the Mountaineers. And he does have the ability, as we've seen, to run the football.
It's a gain of only 1. And it'll bring up 2nd down and 9. Again, they bunch a cluster of 3 receivers over to the right side. They keep Moore off the right hip this time of Bailey. Bailey's rolling to the right side, looking downfield, wanting to throw. He launches to the short man, and the ball is in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, and that was Peyton Presnall. Good job also there on the defense for the Cassville Wildcats was Jerome Ewing. So pretty nicely thrown ball by Bailey, but Ewing arriving at the same time as the football and knocked it free, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, just good hard football right there. Ewing putting a shoulder on the receiver. He was a little bit outstretched. Ewing dislodging, making no chance for Prestall to catch that football. Good play.
So
this is a big series in this game right here. Wildcats need to get that football back.
Yeah, 3rd down and 9. Mount Vernon 1 for 3 so far on 3rd downs, and they try to go with the quick snap and catch Cassville off balanced. And Bailey running for his life, and he's all the way back inside the 10 as he has retreated nearly 25 yards, throws back upfield, pass is caught at the 25 by Darter, but they are going to lose about 5 or 6 yards on the play, and it's going to bring up 4th down.
Yeah.
Or no, they say Darter did not get his hands underneath the football, and it falls incomplete. So they actually catch a break there of not losing that 6 yards back to the 25.
But great pressure and a good defensive play call there to bring pressure from the back. Barbie couldn't get the number of the other Wildcat, but they were chasing Bailey all over that backfield, and a really good job disrupting the play, getting pressure on the quarterback in a big 3rd down situation.
So Mount Vernon will be forced to punt here, 4th down and 9 inside their own 35. Ferris and Cooper back to receive the kick. Darter boots it away. Left-footed kicker. It bounces at the 45 and then rolls out of bounds between the 35 and the 40. So Cassville with some decent field position to start their 2nd drive of the 2nd half.
Yeah, Wildcats really need to make something happen right here. 40 seconds to go here in this 3rd quarter. Down 6 points as the Mountaineers did not convert the extra point in their last touchdown. 13-7 as we're nearing the end of the 3rd quarter.
Only a 29-yard kick, no return. Cassville takes over at their own 39. Mountaineers held the ball for over 3 minutes, but they had to punt it away, and now the Wildcats will take over. They pitched the ball to Ferris, trying to get to the edge and wrapped up from behind and taken down for a short gain as it was Rafe Darter grabbing a hold of the shoulder pads of Jericho Ferris, and that's 2 guys that can run pretty fast.
And you also see Drake Reese back on the field offensively right here. But yeah, you called it. Both probably the two fastest kids on the field tonight in Darter and Ferris.
It's a gain of 4. Ferris now unofficially 81 yards on 17 carries, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 6. If Cassville can get the snap away, this will be the final play of the third quarter. They do get the snap off, and Sink going to run the option to the wide side. Takes on contact at the corner, picks up the first down at the 50-yard line, and takes it into Mount Vernon territory for a 1st and 10. The Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal. They're first in metal roofing. Look them up on Facebook or YouTube and request a free quote. You can also give them a call at 888-364-9527. So the last play of the third quarter results in a first down run for the Wildcats.
And nice job reading the option there by Sink, faking to that first man, seeing that open lane ahead, getting around that edge, and he's so big, he's tough to bring down, and he runs the ball very hard.
It's a gain of 11, and that will put Sink over the 100-yard mark on the night, unofficially 105 yards on 14 carries. And the third quarter has come to a close. We're going to step aside quickly and be back with quarter number 4. You're listening to Big A Football here on the Talon Network. Mountaineer Stadium. The Mountaineers leading Cassville 13-7. The Wildcats with the football. Tonight's fourth quarter is brought to you by Remington's Place. Remington's Place, proud to sponsor Wildcat football, and they're open before, during, and after the game. 209 Highway 76, south of Cassville. Call 847-0368. That's 847-0368. Remington's Place on 112 between Cassville and Roaring River, right there on Hilltop. Drop by and see the folks again before or after the game, or you can drop by and keep track of what's going on with all the different outlets that you can watch and listen into Wildcat football here from the Talon Network. Sink wanted to roll to his left. The pocket closed on him. He tried to go back to his right, and he loses yardage back into Cassville territory at the Wildcat 48.
Yeah, just good pursuit by that Mountaineer defensive line, linebacking core again. Linebacker Justin Moore is a handful. It's hard to deal with out there. He pursues well, and Sink really never had an opportunity to turn and get his feet set and look downfield. Just too much pressure.
It's a loss of 8.5 yards, and it'll bring up 2nd down in a bundle. Ball moved all the way back to the Cassville 47-yard line. They have to get inside the 35 of the Mountaineers to pick up a first down. Just underway here in the fourth quarter, and Sink this time tried to run the fake. He throws it underneath to Cooper. Cooper inside the 40, breaks the tackle, gets to the 35. A flag comes out, and Cooper has yardage for the first down, but will this play stand? As Brett Cooper, with a nice run after the catch, takes it all the way down to the 32-yard line and picks up the yardage for the first down, but we may have an illegal block against the Wildcats.
We'll see right here, unbelievable effort by Sink to keep the play alive.
Yeah, he really showed some strength there with a couple of Mountaineers hanging all over him
and able to hit Cooper right in the middle of the field. And this was way downfield. And we'll see what this is. Yeah.
The flag is thrown at the 45.
Unnecessary. Did not have to make that play downfield like that. It's a killer.
So they will mark the penalty off from there. So it's an 8-yard pass completion, but then another 10 to 15 yards at the run was taken away by the penalty, and it moves it all the way back to the Cassville 45 after a 10-yard penalty. 45 yards worth of penalties on 5 flags tonight against the Wildcats. Sink thrown on the run, and this one bounces in front of Cooper.
Sink feeling that pressure, had a little bit more time than he realized there, but he was feeling it coming from the backside. And good coverage down there. Cooper had given Sink a little bit of a window to throw to, but he was really kind of blanketed out there.
And we've really seen here in the second half, too, especially after Mount Vernon took the lead, their defense is really coming with pressure now. They're gambling a little bit, but it's paying off for them right now.
Right.
So third down and nearly 25 yards to go, and Sink is going up top. He's got Drake Reese, and the pass is underthrown. Reese takes it away from the defensive back, but can't hang on, and then the ball is tipped up into the air and intercepted by Mount Vernon. But then the Mount Vernon return man takes a lick along the sidelines, but he hangs on to the football.
Nearly a great play by Reese to take the ball away initially from the defender, went kind of over the top, was not able to secure it. The ball up in the air, the safety of the Mountaineers able to come over and intercept it, and then down the sideline he goes, and now we see Reese down on the sideline again, and this is what we were talking about with our cramping issues, as the Wildcat trainer down there stretching out, it looks like the right calf of Drake Reese here on the Mount Vernon sideline.
Well, we've seen our first two punts here in the second half of the ball game, and now we've seen our first turnover of the night. A ball that was nearly intercepted, stolen away by the receiver, and then he loses control as the ball, he never really had total control of it. He just popped it out of the hands of the defensive back, and then it went up into the air, and another Mountaineer defender was there to be Johnny on the spot and take it away. He returns it to the 39-yard line of Mount Vernon. That's where they'll take over, 1st and 10.
Just the old tip drill right there. That's exactly what that was, and just a heads-up play by the safety to be over there. Nearly an unbelievable job by Reese to go over the top and rip that ball away. It was underthrown to rip it away from the defender, but he just was not able to hang on, and he kind of flicked it straight up in the air as he went to the ground. The safety came over the top and made a nice play. So opportunistic defense right there by the Mountaineers to get the football back. 10 minutes and 39 seconds to go here in this football game. This Wildcat defense needs to return the favor, see if they can come up with a turnover themselves.
Tonight's fourth quarter brought to you by Remington's Place, Highway 112 south of Cassville, proud sponsor of the Wildcat football program. 847-0368 is the number to call, 209 Highway 76. Remington's Place bringing you tonight's fourth quarter. Mountaineers running the football on first down, and Justin Moore takes it out to the 42-yard line, picks up 3 yards. It'll bring up 2nd down and 7. Moore now 54 yards on 12 carries on the night. Mountaineers quickly back up to the line of scrimmage, but they are taking their time. They've got a 13-7 lead, and the clock is on their side now as well. They throw underneath to Darter. Darter trying to get a kick-out block. Instead, he goes around the outside of the block by Chase Strong and down the Cassville sideline to the 45-yard line.
Yeah,
but
really.
They say he stepped on the sidelines at the 43, so it's only going to end up being a gain of 1
really
after all of that.
Good play by the corner over there, Brett Cooper. Able to keep Darter in front and force him all the way to the sideline. Really good play.
And it'll bring up 3rd down and 6. They bring Moore out of the backfield. Cassville trying to anticipate the snap, and somebody may have came across too quickly. It was Killian Barbie. He gets to Bailey and takes him down for a loss back inside the 35, but he may have came across the line of scrimmage a little prior to the snap of the football, and I don't see a flag. And the Mount Vernon coaching staff is beside themselves. And, I mean, we're not
don't have the best
lined
angle
up on the yard line where the line of scrimmage was. We're on the north side of the 50. The line of scrimmage is on the south side of the 50. But, boy, it sure looked like Barbie got across a little before the snap. But, hey, the Wildcat fans will take it right now as things have not been going their way too much here in the second half, and that one did. And the Mountaineers are going to have to punt the football, facing 4th down after a big loss on the play. And Rafe Darter gets a good leg into this one, and he keeps this one straight down the middle of the field. And now it takes a big bounce for the Mountaineers inside the 20, and it'll be dead and down at the 18.
All right, Sammy. Wildcats, the defense does what they have to do. They get the ball back in the hands of the offense. 13-7, 9 minutes to go here in this football game. It's time for this offense to find a way to get in a little bit of a rhythm, move the ball down the field right here.
So Cassville will start the drive at their own 19. Good punt that time, a 40. See, 41. That was a 47-yard kick that time. Got a good roll after it hit the turf. The Wildcats taking over deep in their own territory. Still lots of time left, 9 minutes and 6 seconds to go here in the fourth quarter. Jericho Ferris gets the call on first down, starts to go around the end, then makes a cutback at the 20-yard line and has his legs taken out from underneath him out around the 22 or 23. It looks like they're going to spot him down at the 23 for a gain of 4.
A couple of blockers out in front, reading those blocks, tried to cut down the field, and a good play by the Mountie defender to reach in and upend Jericho on his way down the field. So Wildcats trying to use the speed of Ferris to stretch this defense out a little bit.
Second down for the Wildcats. Here comes the pressure again, and they get to Sink on the blitz and drop him back at the 17-yard line.
Mountaineers are just pinning their ears back and coming downhill right at the Wildcat quarterback, and Wildcats just aren't able to pick up this pressure right now. Just a lot of bodies right there in the box, and just too many for everybody to block. There's just too many bodies coming at him.
So it's a loss of 7 back to around the 16-yard line. It'll bring up third down and 12. Cassville 0 for 1 on third down conversion tries here in the second half. They were just 2 of 7 back in the first half. Sink this time with a quick two-step drop, now steps up into the pocket. One of the linemen grabs his jersey and takes him down at the 15. He may have been able to get back to the 16. Looks like they are going to spot him at the 16 for no gain. And it looks like Sink may be hurt as he came down awkwardly on his shoulder.
Came down pretty hard. He was kind of twisted and pulled over backwards a little bit. And we'll see what they're working on here. When you get kind of twisted and pulled that way, you know, your concern is the lower body, knees, ankles. And we'll hope that he's all right now. Trying to go one way, and the defender reached up and grabbed the jersey as he was, again, kind of twisted and pulled him over on the side. And it looks like they are looking at lower leg somewhere on Sink. We'll hope that he's all right here.
7:32 left to go in the fourth quarter. We'll step aside while they attended to the injured Wildcat player and be back here from Mountaineer Stadium. Here in the fourth quarter, the Cassville Wildcats having to punt from deep in their own territory. Drake Reese kicked a very high punt, took a decent bounce after it hit the turf here at Mountaineer Stadium, but since he was punting from down inside his own 5-yard line, the ball just crosses midfield, and the Mount Vernon Mountaineers will take over at their own 48, leading 13 to 7. Or excuse me, they are going to say it's at the Cassville 48. So somebody must have touched it back here because the ball ended up on the other side of the 50, but the officials said that it hit one of the Cassville players on the Wildcat side of midfield, so Mount Vernon going to get it at the Cassville 48-yard line.
Well, give the Mountaineers a lot of credit. They defensively, they are flat getting after the Wildcats, bringing, like you said, a lot of pressure, a lot of stunts, a lot of linebackers coming in, And the Wildcats just really haven't had an answer for it early in the season. Trying to deal with all those different pressures and who to slide off of, who to hand off to, who to slide off to, and Mount Vernon really doing a good job of confusing the Wildcats up front and really disrupting what the Wildcats are trying to do offensively.
Again, tonight's fourth quarter brought to you by Remington's Place. They're proud to sponsor the Wildcat football program, and they are open before, during, and after the game. 209 Highway 76, south of Cassville. Call 847-0368. Remington's Place are bringing you tonight's fourth quarter. 13-7, Mount Vernon with the lead here with 7:14 left to go in the fourth quarter. Tonight's Wildcat broadcast also brought to you in part by Tomlin's Jewelry and Gifts on the northeast corner of the Cassville Square. If you're looking for something special, that jewelry or gift item, they've been doing it right at Tomlin's for over 55 years. Come by and visit them today. And Sports World on the east side of the square in Cassville, 709 Main Street for screen printing and embroidery. Local school athletic clothing, all at Sports World. 847-5366 is the number to call. First and 10 Mountaineers at the Cassville 48-yard line. Mount Vernon with the 13-7 lead. It's been a tale of two halves so far. It was all Cassville in the first half, and it's been mostly the Mountaineers here in the second half. It was a 7-7 game at the break. But as Cassville dominated the time of possession and the statistics in the first two quarters, Mount Vernon's kind of turned the tables on the Wildcats here in the second half of play. Bailey with some time, looks around, now finds an open room around the right end, takes it inside the 40 down to the Cassville 39-yard line, just shy of the first down, but a good pickup on 1st and 10.
Just really tough on a defense, getting late in a football game. They're tired. The humidity is, zapped a lot of energy out there. Defense been on the field a lot, and when a quarterback is scrambled, his ability to scramble like that is just tough on a defense to try to chase him around, especially the big boys.
It's a gain of 9, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 1 inside the Cassville 40. Wildcats have got to find a way to stop Mount Vernon on this drive, because any points put up by the Mountaineers would be very detrimental to any type of comeback for Cassville. Now flags come out after the snap of the football from the side judge and from the referee. Ball carrier was Justin Moore, and he plowed his way down to the 36-yard line after a pickup of about 3 yards. But the flag thrown back at actually behind the line of scrimmage, and we've got an illegal shift against the Mountaineers. So only the second flag of the night thrown against Mount Vernon. And it will be a 5-yard penalty. Move the ball back to the 45-yard line.
Wildcats catch a break here.
So that'll bring up 2nd down, and looks like, okay, he's got it set now. 2nd down and about 7. Just inside the Cassville 45-yard line. Clock starting to become a factor now, though, as we move to the midway point of the fourth quarter. 4 receivers in the formation. Bailey's got Moore off of his left hip that time. There comes Barbie again. He timed it perfectly, but this time Moore is able to pick up the blitz. Bailey rolling to his left, throws against his body, and the pass is intercepted back at the 30-yard line, and it's by Drake Reese, who was carried off the field. Well, I shouldn't say carried, helped off the field earlier, and he comes up with a big pick inside the 30 at the 29-yard line.
Huge play defensively. We talked about it a minute ago. This Wildcat defense coming up with a big play, turnover, get a little momentum back to their side, and it looks like the Wildcats, as Sink is not able to return to this game, looks like Cutter Hicks is coming in to lead this Wildcat offense right now.
I formation behind Hicks, and he pitches the ball back to Ferris. Around the left end he goes. He breaks a tackle. He's across the 35, across the 40. It's a foot race. One man to beat, and he is upended inside the 40-yard line. A big first down run from Jericho Ferris.
Huge play. Toss sweep to the wide side of the field, and I tell you what, Ferris turned on the jets all the way over across the field to the Wildcat sideline, upended in Mountaineer territory, but a huge play right there for Ferris and this Wildcat offense.
First down for the Wildcats. It's brought to you by Superior Metal. First in all your farm building needs. Check them out online at superiormetalsalesinc.com. Line of scrimmage, the Mount Vernon 37-yard line. Twin receivers to the left, and the handoff goes up the middle as Hicks gives it to Fox, and Ethan Fox is stopped at the 36-yard line after a gain of 1.
Tall order here for young quarterback coming in to replace the starter. And he's been tasked with taking this football team down the field trying to win a football game. And that's where the senior-heavy team, that's where these seniors got to step up and help a young player, young quarterback out. Let him know, hey, it's all right, we're going to do this.
After a 34-yard run from Ferris, it's a half-a-yard gain on the run by Fox, and now pass from Hicks is overthrown to the intended receiver, Drake Reese, and he was open on the slant, and the ball was just too tall for him to catch.
Yep. Ball sailed on him a little bit. Wasn't really able to step into his throw.
So a big play right here, third down and 9.5 yards to go for the Wildcats with 4:59 left to play. Cassville trailing 13-7. Mount Vernon trying to hold Cassville and get the ball back and try to run some clock, and now we've got movement all over the place along the defensive line. And flags come flying out from both sides of the field. And it will be against the defense, and that will give Cassville a free 5 yards.
When you got an aggressive defense like that, you change your cadence, hard counts, don't go on one every time. That will stymie an aggressive defense sometimes, as we saw right there. The Wildcats pick up an easy 5.
So third down and 5, much more manageable than third down and nearly 10. Hicks under center, pitches the ball to Ferris. He's got a blocker in front. It's Fox. He's inside the 25, dives for the first down, and he hangs on to the football after taking a big lick. Good run by Ferris to move the chains. The Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal. They're first in all your farm building needs. You can find them on Facebook or YouTube, or request a quote by calling 888-364-9527.
Really nice job, and Wildcat offensive line, tight end Barbie doing a good job of blocking and letting Ferris pick up that first down on the sweep around the right edge.
126 yards unofficially now for Ferris, and he gets the call again on first down, trying to leap over a defender. But Mount Vernon defender grabs a hold and hangs on. Ferris is able to take it down to the 23 for a gain of 2. Second down and 8, and we're down to 4:10 now left to play. So now, just as we said, if Mount Vernon could have scored on that last drive, that would have really put the squeeze on Cassville. If Cassville can score here under 4 minutes to go, that would quickly change the tables and turn things back against Mount Vernon. Ferris with a nice cutback, gets a good kick-out block from Fox. He's inside the 15 and takes it down to the 11 or 12-yard line. Picks up another Wildcat first down.
Yeah, great kick-out, as you said, on the play around the left edge. Great kick-out block. Ferris reads it perfectly, very quick, able to put his foot in the ground, get down the field. He knew what he had to get. He got the first down yardage, keep the drive alive. Really nice job there.
Well, they say his knee touched down back at the 14. It looked like he dove down to around the 12, but it's still a first down. The Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal Sales. Find them online at superiormetalsalesinc.com. First and 10 for the Wildcats at the Mount Vernon 14-yard line. They pitch the ball to Ferris again. Cuts it back, takes it inside the 10, and slides down to the 8.
Ferris running with some good vision right now. We know he has wheels. We know he's able to get to the edge, but when he's got his eyes up looking downfield, he can see, hey, I've got some room to work in the middle here. He was just tripped up, or he's down inside the 5-yard line, but he's running with some nice vision.
They spot him down at the 9, so it's a gain of 5 yards, and it'll bring up second down and 5, and we're inside 3 minutes now left to play. Backfield still split behind Cutter Hicks, who has taken over for the injured Hayden Sink. They give the ball to Ferris. He's the workhorse. Jumps over the defense. Goes inside the 5, takes it down to the 2 or 3, and it'll be first and goal, Wildcats.
Yeah, nice job. Good job on the right side of the offensive line. Rising to the occasion here in this drive. Little lead play. Ferris going off the right side, made a man miss. And the Wildcats in striking distance right here. Should be in no hurry to run plays as we've got 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Let that play clock run down. Eat up as much as you can. You're close. And this is where it hurts with a big quarterback like Sink not there, with a big back like Kanan not there.
They give the ball to Ferris. Cut back. He's got a block at the line of scrimmage, and he takes it down to the goal line and is denied as a good stop right at the end zone. Keeps Ferris out, but it'll be second and goal from inside the 1.
It's not necessarily a bad thing right there. The Mountaineers are going to call a timeout right here to stop the clock. Him not getting in the end zone forced them to burn a timeout. Otherwise, that clock's going to run well down, maybe somewhere around that minute and 30-second mark.
Timeout on the field brought to you by Security Bank of Southwest Missouri. Everyone has debit cards and ATMs, mobile banking, but at Security Bank of Exeter, Wheaton, and Cassville, you sit across from a neighbor and a decision maker. Security Bank, all the newest banking features with the same hometown service. Member FDIC. Tonight's broadcast also brought to you in part by White Funeral Home, where they measure their success by the satisfaction of those they serve. White Funeral Home in Cassville. 13-7, Mount Vernon with the lead. But Cassville has its second down and goal at the 1-yard line with 2:15 left to go here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, the Wildcats have done a good job. And, hey, give the young quarterback some credit. Coming in here, injured starter, young quarterback Cutter Hicks coming in, driving this team down the field. And what can you say about Jericho Ferris in this last drive? I tell you what, he's been the workhorse, showing that speed, running, getting those tough yards between the tackles as well. And Wildcats knocking on the door right here.
So here we go. Both teams coming back out on the field after the timeout. Second and goal, Cassville at the 1-yard line. A touchdown will tie the score. Cassville trying to deadlock and then hope to break that tie with an extra point. Hicks gives it to Ferris, dives over the right side into the end zone. Touchdown, Cassville.
Great job. Great job. Good surge up front by the big offensive line. They were in that kind of that rhino package, some lead blockers, and Ferris got in behind them all, dove into the end zone. Nice job.
So now Drake Reese in to attempt the extra point and give the Wildcats the lead with 2:12 left to play. An 11-play, 71-yard drive. Spencer Moeller with the hold. Snap back. It's over the head of Moeller, and Reese has to scramble back at the 15-yard line, and we are deadlocked at 13. We haven't seen a clean snap tonight on the field goal or extra point attempts. We had one high, one low, and now another one high, and the score remains 13 apiece with 2:12 left to play.
Again, special teams can hurt you. And we have a tie ball game. Mountaineers do have the football. A little over 2 minutes to go in this game.
The Wildcats will kick it away. The Wildcat kickoff brought to you by Baywash Car Wash. Come try out the all-new IQ Soft Cloth Automatic featuring a custom wash technology giving you the perfect wash every time. With Baywash, a clean car is a happy car, and that makes you feel good. Yeah, the first snap on the extra point try was high, but they were able to get it down. And then we had a low snap on the field goal attempt, and that one went over the head of Moeller. And Drake Reese was able to dive on it to keep the Mountaineers from picking it up. So both teams have had some difficulties on their conversion attempts. And we are knotted at 13 now with a little over 2 minutes to go here in the ballgame. And Drake Reese will be kicking it away. We've got back deep for the Mountaineers, Carter Bartlesmeyer, Rafe Darter. Darter's the deep man all the way back near the goal line.
And he's the last one you probably want to kick it to right here in this situation. Reese has been kicking the ball into the end zone. We hope to see that again.
He approaches the ball in the air, and this one's got plenty of leg, and it will sail well back into the end zone and out the back of the field of play, and it'll be a touchback for the Mountaineers. So they'll take over at their own 20-yard line with 2:12 left to go.
Just a booming kick right there by Reese. That ball landed probably 10 yards behind the back line in the end zone. He just drilled that.
So we talked about earlier about Mount Vernon with their quick strike capabilities. The one thing with the Mountaineers, though, the success when we talked about this in the pregame, the success they've had the last 3 seasons, they had several more weapons for those big play opportunities. There are not quite as many players out there with that same type of capability, but they still have the potential, so the defense will have to be on its toes. And Bailey sets things up with trips to the right. They throw to the back coming out of the backfield. That's Justin Moore, and he is tripped up at the 23-yard line, falls forward out close to the 24 for a gain of 4.
Yeah, nice job there. Looked like the corner over here, Ewing, was able to shake the wide receiver and able to get in there and help bring down the back. Nice job in the open field.
So the clock continuing to move inside a minute 50 left. 2nd down and 6 for the Mountaineers inside their own 25-yard line. Trips to the right side once again. Bailey rolling that direction, throws underneath, and Darter makes the catch, slips a tackle at the 26 and takes it out across the 30. And they spot him out of bounds at the 31, and that'll be good for a Mount Vernon 1st down.
As you said, Darter starting to fill out, getting stronger. He's able to shake arm tackles and work his way down the field, as we saw right there. Wildcat defender looked like he had him short. Darter's able to shake the tackle, pick up that 1st down.
It's a gain of 7, 1st and 10 Mount Vernon. Darter now unofficially 89 yards receiving on 8 catches on the night. Mount Vernon has it at their own 31-yard line. Down to a minute 15 left to play. Bailey looking for Darter again. Makes the catch out at the 39. Again, pushes off a defender and takes it out across the 45-yard line before he is wrestled out of bounds by Jericho Ferris.
Just a stiff arm out here. Darter makes the catch. Stiff arm on the Wildcat defender. And just shows you how strong he is. Picking up another 1st down for the Mountaineers, and they're working their way down the field. Just over a minute to go here in the football game.
It's a gain of 16, 1st and 10 Mount Vernon at their own 47. Moore goes in motion. Bailey throws underneath. The catch this time by Bartlesmeyer on a little quick hitter. He tries to turn it up the field, takes it across the 50, just into Cassville territory. A short gain of about 3 or 4 yards. And they'll have to hurry and get set up once again as we're inside a minute to go. Bartlesmeyer's first catch of the night for 3 yards. Bailey with time to throw. Now he's forced out of the pocket. Finds Darter at the Cassville 46-yard line. That comes up short of the 1st down. It'll bring up a big 3rd down play.
And he was able to get out of bounds, stop the clock. But a nice job over here by Cooper. It looked like they were trying to set up a little out and up. Cooper stayed deep, not allowing that long throw down the sideline. Play took a long time to happen, ate up a lot of clock.
So 3rd down and nearly 3 to go for Mount Vernon at the Cassville 46. 37 seconds left in regulation, tied at 13. Bailey throws behind Darter, but he turned around just in time and makes the catch at the Cassville 38. Boy, that was nearly disastrous there because Darter, it's all a timing pattern, and their timing was just about off right there.
Well, Darter wasn't looking initially. He turned around just in time. Was able to see the ball at the last second. The clock continues to run. We're down around 25 seconds. They still hadn't snapped the football.
Down to 20 seconds left. Bailey gets the snap. Looking for Darter. He's on the slant. Now he's on the up and go, and he throws into double coverage. Darter up in the air, takes it down between 3 Cassville defenders, and takes it into the end zone. Unbelievable.
Talked a lot about Darter tonight. We talked about he catches everything, and we just saw right there as Bailey just threw it up and let him go get it. Wildcat defenders everywhere. Darter's just able to go up and rip it out of the sky and into the end zone. Just a great football player. Great play.
7-play, 80-yard drive. Takes 2 minutes, and the Mountaineers have taken the lead with 12 and a half seconds left here in regulation. We've got an injured Wildcat player at the line of scrimmage. Yeah, Darter, he initially ran a post. He went down about 10, 12 yards, slanted across the middle, and then when he hit the hash, he turned it back upfield. So it was kind of a cross and up, and when he did the up, there was one man deep, one man behind him, and then a player in the center of the field that started drifting over to him, and Bailey just kind of threw it up for grabs, as you said, and he just went up between all three of them and came down with the football.
Yeah, special player, and I will promise you that the Wildcat players, Wildcat coaching staff know who he is, and they knew him well, coming into this football game. But sometimes it doesn't matter what you do. The Wildcats had two safeties in a corner right there with him, and he was still able to make a play. Sometimes it just doesn't matter what you do. Great players are going to make great plays, and that's what we just saw.
And that was his 12th catch of the night, unofficially 145 yards on those 12 catches and 2 touchdowns. Third touchdown pass of the night thrown by Mason Bailey. And the Mountaineers lead 19-13 here. And, of course, their kicker had got hurt early, and it was a little more severe than what Drake Reese. So Dominic Dawson not in to attempt the point after. They're going to go for 2 and try to get that missed extra point back. Bailey takes the snap, rolling to his right, forced out of the pocket by Fox, running towards the corner of the end zone, and now slips inside, and the 2-point conversion is good. And it's 21-13 in favor of Mount Vernon. So that may prove crucial. If Cassville can try to get points on the board, that will force them to have to go for 2 to try to tie. A 38-yard touchdown strike in the closing seconds from Bailey to Darter have given the Mountaineers the lead, and now Cassville will get one final opportunity here. 12 and a half seconds left to go in regulation. The Wildcats down by 8.
Well, quite a football game. Hasn't been the prettiest game tonight. Several penalties, things of that nature, but this Mount Vernon football team, you look out on the field, and the Wildcats, the bigger team, but Mount Vernon physical, and they look fresh, Sammy. They're flying around the field, and I tell you what, again, Rafe Darter going to be one of the better receivers that we will see this year. Maybe the number 1 receiver that we'll see this year. Just catches everything, and just made an unbelievable play for his football team right at the goal line to put the Mountaineers up ahead of the Wildcats here late in this football game.
Brett Cooper, along with Jericho Ferris and Drake Reese, will drop back for Cassville. And since Dawson is now hurt, it will be Mason Bailey kicking off for the Mountaineers. Could see about anything right here. Of course, you got not your regular kicker in there, but even if he was in there, you could see about anything. Squib kicks, line drives, trying to boot it deep, and they're going to try to run some clock here, so they squib it, get it down to the 45-yard line. And a good job there by the Wildcats as Brady Schwer, dives on the football. And Cassville will take over 1st and 10 at their own 44-yard line with 11.4 seconds remaining.
Wildcats have timeouts. There's just not a lot of time on the clock. They can run a play. They don't necessarily have to run it to the sideline. They can run a play to the middle of the field and call timeout. But they're going to have 2 plays that get them downfield in a hurry.
3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Cutter Hicks, your quarterback, after Hayden Sink was knocked out with an injury. Hicks steps up in the pocket, lets her fly. He's got a man open. Cooper makes the catch at the 43-yard line. Has to get down quickly, and he does. And do they get the timeout called? They do, with 3.4 seconds remaining.
Nice job.
And Cooper sliding down at the 36-yard line, picking up the Wildcat first down, which is brought to you by Superior Metal Sales. They're first in all of your farm building and commercial building needs. Call them at 888-364-9527.
Doing a nice job there by Hicks, completing that pass. Nice catch by Cooper. Now Hicks does have the arm. He can get the ball to the end zone from here, and that's more than likely what we're going to see. We're going to see a shot at the end zone. You wouldn't see the old hitching pitch right here, would you?
We've seen it in the past in situations like this.
We'll see.
But as we were saying, Mount Vernon doesn't have all the same personnel. That was a lot of Pretty and White back then working that. So you've got some new kids out there that maybe not have run it as much or not with nearly as much success. So will offensive coordinator Clay Weldy dip into the playbook and pull out some trickery, or will they go with something a little more traditional?
Well, you got a couple options, something like that, or just something high and into the end zone, and hope that somebody can jump and bring it down. Normally, Drake Reese, 6'3", good athlete, can jump. He would be a guy you might look at to throw that jump ball to. More than likely, he's going to be jumping against Rafe Darter. But I don't, who knows how Reese is feeling right now. He's come out of the game a couple times with leg cramps, so we'll see. First and foremost, got to give Hicks some time to throw this ball. They're going to take a little time to let the receivers get downfield.
Will it be the final play of the game? We'll have to wait and see. 3.4 seconds showing on the clock right now. Cassville down by 8. Here comes the blitz. No, they back out of it. Cutter Hicks rolling to his left, looking to throw, lets her go, and he overthrows the intended receiver. Rafe Darter bats it down, and that will be the ball game. Mount Vernon wins 21-13 on a late second half touchdown from Bailey to Darter, and the Mountaineers win their home opener here in 2020.
A tough football game, tough loss for the Wildcats. Tough way to start the season. A positive note, we started a season. Wildcats can learn a lot from this first game. And the thing about it, if you're going to lose one week one, because you got a lot of season theoretically remaining. And here's another instance where some rules have changed. Players will not go through a handshake line. But tough, hard-fought football game, and Mountaineers just came away and earned the victory tonight.
Yeah, they'll line up on each half and face each other, and then tip of the helmet to each other and an acknowledgement. Now, one we did see, we saw Coach Parnell came all the way across and congratulated Rafe Darter on the game he has had. And now the two teams, after acknowledging each other's efforts, now they will go to their respective huddles and go into their postgame. 21-13, the Mountaineers win here over Cassville in week number 1. We're going to take a break and then be back with the postgame show. You're listening to Big 8 Conference Football here on the Talon Network. along with Todd Speakman running the camera for us on CassvilleWebTV.com. Looking at the scoring summary from tonight's ball game, it was a 7-7 ball game at halftime. The Wildcats had struck first on a touchdown run from Jericho Ferris. The Mountaineers answered on a Mason Bailey to Rafe Darter touchdown, and we were all knotted up at 7 at the half. Mount Vernon got on the board first in the second half with 5:47 left to go in the third quarter. Another touchdown pass from Mason Bailey, this time to Justin Moore, a 15-yard pass. The extra point was no good, and it was 13-7 Mountaineers. Cassville would score with 2:12 left to go in the game on a 1-yard run by Jericho Ferris, capping off an 11-play, 71-yard drive. But the extra point was no good on a bad snap, and we were deadlocked at 13. And with 12 seconds remaining in regulation, Mason Bailey finds Rafe Darter in traffic, good for 38 yards and a score, and that proved to be the difference maker and the game winner. The two-point conversion was tacked on by the Mountaineers, and the Mountaineers hold on and win 21-13.
A hard-fought football game. Again, week one, not the prettiest game you'll see this season, but a hard-fought game usually is between the Mountaineers and the Wildcats. And the Mountaineers come out in the win column on this one. Wildcats will learn from this. Hopefully, some of the injuries that were sustained in this game aren't too serious. We'll have to wait and see on that. But it's a good learning experience to come out and play in a tough football game like this, and it can kind of show your football team where you're at. And I think the Wildcats saw that tonight. So that's some work to do.
Looking at some other scores from around the Big Eight, Monette travels to Hollister and beats the Tigers 20-13. Another final, Reed Spring 41, East Newton 7. A wild one over at Kelly Field. It started out kind of a lower scoring back and forth, and now it's turned into a shootout. Aurora over McDonald County 50-28 in the fourth quarter. Seneca has come back on Marshfield after falling behind early to the Blue Jays. The Indians have rallied in the second half, so they got things turned around in the second half, just like Mount Vernon did here in Mount Vernon. And the Indians leading Marshfield 28-27 late in the third quarter. Lamar has a 29-6 lead late in the third quarter over Springfield Catholic. Nevada and Rogersville in a dandy late in the third quarter. It's the Tigers over the Wildcats 26-20. And another shootout up in Joplin between Webb City and Joplin. The Eagles have now went back in front over the Cardinals 41-40 in that game in the fourth quarter. So a lot of high-scoring, hard-fought, close nip-and-tuck ball games here. We've got a couple of lopsided affairs, but boy, a lot of them are going right down to the wire, just like this one did.
Yep, absolutely. And a great opening night of football. I'm glad we've got it back. And it's a tough night for the Wildcats. You're a Wildcat fan. You know, it's a tough night, tough loss. But the Wildcats will rebound, and they'll rebound from this. They'll watch film, and they'll get better from this game.
Looking at some of the team stats from tonight's ball game, unofficially, Mount Vernon with 22 carries for 84 yards. They completed 17 of 22 passes for 182 yards for a total of 266 yards of offense. The Mountaineers with 14 first downs, one turnover, that coming on an interception. And they were penalized 3 times for 25 yards, and they punted twice for a 36-yard average. Cassville, 48 rushes for a total of 261 yards on the ground. The Wildcats were 5 of 11 through the air for 78 yards. Cassville with a total of 339 yards of offense. The Wildcats picked up 16 first downs. They also turned it over once on an interception. They were penalized 5 times for 45 yards, and Cassville 2 punts for a 35-yard average. Some of the individual numbers for the Mountaineers, Mason Bailey ran for 29 yards on 9 carries. Leading rusher for the Mountaineers was Justin Moore, as he had 54 yards unofficially on 12 carries. Peyton Personal had 2 catches for 15 yards. Justin Moore had 2 catches for 19 yards and a touchdown. And Rafe Darter, unofficially 12 catches for 145 yards and 2 scores tonight. Cassville, looking at their rushing yardages, Hayden Sink, before going out with an injury, carried the ball 17 times for 92 yards. Jericho Ferris, 151 yards unofficially and 2 touchdowns tonight on 26 carries. Ethan Fox had 2 carries for 3 yards, and Brett Cooper 3 carries for 15 yards. Cooper also had 4 catches tonight for unofficially 71 yards, and Jericho Ferris had a catch for 9 yards here this evening as well. Coach Lance Parnell is making his way up to the press box. We're going to take a quick break and then be back to visit with the head coach of the Wildcats. You're listening to Big 8 Football here on the Talon Network. Vernon, the Mountaineers take the victory tonight over the Cassville Wildcats 21-13. We're now joined by the head coach of the Cassville Wildcats, Coach Lance Parnell, here for the post-game coaches interview brought to you by Arvis Bank. They're committed to Cassville, and they're there to support Cassville and the surrounding community. Local decisions, local commitment. Arvis Bank, member FDIC. Coach, a tough one tonight. It was a tale of two halves. It was all Cassville in the first half, and then the Mountaineers finally got that score late in the first half, and it kind of gave them a little momentum, and they came out like gangbusters in the second half, changed things up with a little more pressure defensively, got a turnover that it helped them out. Once they got the lead, they were really able to kind of come at you with a lot, and they were able to pull out a big win on a last-second play.
Yeah, they did. I tip my hat to Mount Vernon. I thought their kids competed very hard for 4 quarters. Coach Cox and Coach Johnson do a really good job here. It was evident by how hard their kids played. They made the plays that needed to be made at the times that they needed to be made to give themselves a chance to win. And tough one coming on the road week one, and not the way we wanted to start the season, but it's a very good football team at Mount Vernon, and Mr. Rafe Darter's a really good player, and that's a heck of a catch he made down there to win the ball game.
Yeah, we start out in the first quarter. The Wildcats come out, and you do exactly what you want to do. You just methodically move the ball down the field. 16 plays, 91 yards, 7 minutes off the clock, touchdown, and the Wildcats are out in front. It couldn't have hardly scripted that much better to start the football game.
Great start. That's what we want to do. I mean, we've got a big offensive line that we think's physical, and that we can do that in the run game. And we were able to march down the field. And you're right, we couldn't ask for a better start of the ball game. We just wasn't quite enough.
And then, of course, everyone starts making their adjustments. They start making theirs. You start making yours. The next two possessions, lengthy drives, but couldn't get points on the board, and that kind of changed things a little bit there in the first half.
It was. We had the opportunity there in the first half to put points on the board 2 different times, and we came up empty both times. And that's where I felt like all night long the theme of tonight for us was lack of discipline. We lost some discipline at some key times. And that's what we just talked about after the ball game. We pride ourselves in that. That's something that we talk about, not just talk about. We focus on a daily basis in everything that we do, and that starts with me. I think I didn't do a great job making some adjustments when I needed to, and I didn't think we played with great discipline. We were misaligned several times and struggled with some stuff, and that's pretty disappointing. And I think that was kind of, you saw that, not being able to finish a couple drives, giving up a couple big plays in the first half to let them get back in it, and have a tied ball game at half.
They come out in the second half, and it's a reversal of what you did to them in the first half. They put together a 12-play, 80-yard drive, take over 6 minutes off the clock, and they put a touchdown on the board, and things turned in their favor.
They did. We had 2 opportunities to get off the field on third downs there that we missed some key tackles that would have got us off the field. Lost contain a couple times. Got ourselves out of position a couple times with some formation stuff. And again, Coach Cox did a great job of really keeping us off balance all night long. But that was a big turning point there, their opening drive, of the second half.
And then we go back to the adjustment phase again. You guys making yours, them making theirs. Your defense really started picking it up then. You force a couple of punts, get a big turnover on an interception, and that started picking things back up a little bit.
We did, and that was, we got to the second half. We were super vanilla defensively in the first half, and I felt like I had to be. We had some people in some different positions, and just trying to get them a feel of the game and not put them in some bad situations or make them have to make some checks or do some things that could put them in bad situations. And, at halftime, we were in the flow a little more. I thought we could do some things, some pressure-wise, and we did. We were able to get some pressure, and that's where we started being successful defensively.
Then a couple of injuries come in, and ironically, it was both kickers. Your kicker, Drake Reese, their kicker, Dominic Dawson, both go down. But the good news for the Wildcats, Reese was able to come back and continue to play, and he made a beautiful defensive play down here and nearly come up with a great catch one time, too.
He did. Long fade to him. I thought after it was tipped he was going to come down with it and just couldn't quite haul it in. But no, he showed he's a tough kid. That's why we teach you to tackle with your head up. Gets a little stinger there, and those are not comfortable for everybody out there listening that's had them. But he bounced back up and shows you how tough he is to come right back in.
Of course, then your quarterback goes down with injury, but I tell you, Cutter Hicks came in and showed a lot of poise for a young man being thrown into a nip-and-tuck ball game in the closing seconds.
I couldn't be more proud of Cutter Hicks. Could not be more proud of him. He's a young man that has just progressed in our program and done everything that we've asked him to do over the last, he's a junior, last 2.5 years. He's grown, he's matured, he works extremely hard, always comes in with a great attitude, and he had an opportunity to step up tonight, and he did just that. Um, you know, I, Going into the season, I don't think people would have thought he would be number 2 on our depth chart at quarterback. But after the way he performed last week in the jamboree, Coach Weldy and I sit down and talked, and we were just really impressed with the way he carried himself and the way he just he's calm. He controlled our offense there in the jamboree, and I thought he stepped in and did an outstanding job. I mean, I can't say enough good things about that kid right now and what he did coming in a tough situation. We're down and does what we needed him to do to go down and tie the ball game up.
Yeah, the nice drive put together, 11 plays, 71 yards, tie the score, and then it all comes down to one play right at the end in the closing seconds, and it's one of those throw it up and hope and 50-50 plays, and you got to tip your cap to Rafe Darter. He came down with the football.
Excellent receiver, and anybody who watched it tonight will understand that. We struggled with him all night, tried to double him, tried to do different things to him, and he found ways to get himself open. Their quarterback did a nice job getting him the football, and he is an absolute load and a very, very good player. We knew that coming in. I mean, he made a big catch against us as a sophomore in the district championship game that kind of turned some momentum back in 2018, and he did that repeatedly tonight.
Well, as you said, a lot of things to work on going to week 2, but boy, a lot of good things happening tonight too. Of course, Sink with the injury, but he was really doing a nice job running the ball before he got hurt. But Jericho Ferris, what a workhorse tonight, over 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. Brett Cooper, nearly 100 yards of total offense between his receiving and his rushing. Those two guys really carried the load for you tonight.
Yeah, Jericho Ferris had one of those warrior nights. He did not come off the field. A couple special teams here or there, but every snap defensively, every snap offensively. He's playing safety back there, and as many times as Mount Vernon threw the ball, he's covering. And then just we asked him put it on his shoulders there on that, our last offensive drive there. We went in and scored and tied it up. He did everything we could ask him to do. I mean, that young man's he's grown so much since he was a freshman. He wasn't the most physical runner when he was a freshman. He liked to keep the ball out on the edge and wasn't known for sticking it up inside. And man, he got some tough yards tonight. He was lowering his shoulder, just played his tail end off, and very proud of him. I mean, he's one of those kids in your program you look at and you see how they've grown over the 4 years. And I'm excited to see what he does for the rest of this season. I think he's going to have a great year for us. But he's really matured and just turned into a really outstanding young man.
And that showed early in this football game tonight, too, because there was a couple of times where he had opportunities to run around guys and try to maybe elude him, and he just squared him up and just ran right through him.
He did. He's got a little different mentality about him this year, and that's going to pay dividends for us moving forward.
But we still saw several times tonight he's got great field vision as well. He was able to make some great cutbacks and get extra yardage.
Yeah, he's got really good speed. You saw we got him out on the edge, had a big run there in the fourth quarter to get us down. We went in and punched it in, and like I said, he's a dynamic back that was our backup last year to Bowen, and got some touches and did a nice job as a junior. Had a great year defensively, and he's going to be a huge part of our offense moving forward.
Of course, one of those unsung heroes is the guy that's blocking for him up front, and Ethan Fox had some great kick-out blocks to spring him on some of those runs.
There's another junior kid that was not expecting to start tonight, but due to injury, he had to step in on Monday, and all of a sudden he's a starter and playing on both sides of the ball quite a bit. And I thought he did a great job for us at fullback. Really did a good job in our power run game, getting Jerry some creases, and that kid doesn't shy away from anything. And heck, the biggest shot he took was on the 2-point conversion down here at the end of the ball game from our own guy. Trying to come up and just takes direct shot in the gut and gets the wind knocked out of him, and kid goes down on a knee and gets right back up and walks off. Coach, I'm good. I mean, he's a tough kid.
Well, it's home for week number 2. The Marshfield Blue Jays come to town. Going in, they were a lot of people giving them a lot of ink to maybe be one of the favorites there in the Big 8 East. Now, they got out to the early lead against Seneca. We haven't got a final on that one, but Seneca has come back and taken the lead late in that football game, but we'll see how that one turns out. But Marshfield, we know they were much improved. last year, and they were looking to improve again this year. They're going to be a tough football team coming to Cassville next Friday.
Definitely. We don't have a lot of film on them. We haven't played them in my 23 years in Cassville, and what I have seen and what I know about them is they're very big up front. They've got a big bruising back, and I'd say it'll be a physical contest next week in Cassville.
Yeah, it's 34-30 now, Seneca and Marshfield. They're kind of in a shootout up there in Webster County. So we'll maybe get a final before we get off the air here tonight. But the good news is the Wildcats are getting to go back home, and it's a nice place to kind of go back and regroup.
Absolutely. We look forward to being home next week. We'll go back to work this weekend. Get our bumps and bruises taken care of. I think we talked a lot about humility after the ball game, and a lot of times you learn more from a loss than you do from a win. And I think these kids are going to learn a lot after this ball game tonight, and I expect them to come back into work on Monday with a little different attitude, and we'll get some stuff cleaned up, and we'll be ready to go next Friday night.
And we saw the same thing just last year with the loss down in Seneca. The Cassville Wildcats, after that loss, they really kind of reset themselves and refocused, and it took you all the way to the state championship.
Yeah, it's a long season. Like I said, not the way we wanted to start it off tonight, but we got a lot of football left in front of us. We've got a lot of improvement to do. Our physical conditioning's got to get better. I saw that was pretty evident tonight, I felt like, and we'll work on those things, and we'll come back next Friday, and we'll be an improved football team next Friday.
We appreciate your time as always here in the postgame. We'll let you get out of here and get back with your kids and get home. But thanks again. We'll look forward to catching up with you again next week.
Thanks a lot, Sammy. Susie and the girls, I love you. I'll be home later to see you.
Head coach Lance Parnell joining us here in the postgame coaches show, brought to you by Arvest Bank. Show your school spirit. Stop by Arvest Bank in Cassville and get your Wildcat debit card. Arvest Bank, member FDIC. They've got a loan for everything. Competitive loan rates, easily application process at Arvest Bank in Cassville. We're going to step aside and be back to wrap things up here from Mountaineer Stadium. Cats by a score of 21-13. The Mountaineers start the 2020 season 1-0. Cassville falls to 0-1, and Cassville will be at home next Friday night, hosting the Marshfield Blue Jays. We'll try to get a final or a late score on that one. Seneca and Marshfield in a battle up there at Marshfield High School this evening. And time to hand out our post-game awards here. First of all, our Wildcat Player of the Game tonight is brought to you by Fast Trip at 104 South Main in Cassville. Great prices and friendly service is what you'll find at Fast Trip. Stop by today, locally owned by Mike and Anita Carr. Our Wildcat player of the game, Jericho Ferris. 151 yards unofficially on 26 carries and 2 touchdowns. And as you heard Coach Parnell say in the postgame, also playing all the time on defense, on special teams. Hardly ever came out of tonight's ball game on a very hot and humid night. He saw just about every play and leads the Wildcats in rushing and scoring, and he is our Wildcat player of the game.
Yeah, well-conditioned player. Uh, and just, he played as hard as anybody you'll see play tonight. And he was flying all over the field on both sides of the ball. And he definitely did what he could tonight to try to help this football team win.
So Jericho Ferris, our Wildcat player of the game, again brought to you by Fast Trip. Whether for fuel, grocery items, fountain drinks, ice cream, or snacks, they have it all and at the very best prices. Fast Trip, 104 South Main in Cassville, also in Joplin and Mount Vernon, locally owned by Mike and Anita Carr. Our hard hit of the game is brought to you by B&K Auto Body. They're fixing hard hits, and that's their specialty. They use a Black Hawk frame, rack, and measurement system. They do free computerized estimates, B&K Auto Body. They also work with all major insurances. Phone B&K Auto Body at 847-3990. Our hard hit of the night comes from Ethan Fox. After Mount Vernon had intercepted the ball down around the 20-yard line, the return man brought it up along the Mount Vernon sideline. He got to about the 35 and was nearly decleated by Ethan Fox. The sideline of the Mountaineers kind of blocked our view from the lower half, but we saw the upper half of that Mount Vernon defensive back, and he got smacked. It was like he hit a brick wall and went backwards, and when they came up out of the sidelines, it was Ethan Fox, number 22, who leveled the blow.
Yeah, right in the middle of everything Mount Vernon right there. He dove in there and really a big-time blow, and unfortunately it was after a Wildcat interception, but definitely the hit that stood out tonight.
He had the hit of the night, and the Wildcat hard hit of the game brought to you by B&K Auto Body. They offer you car rental, 24-hour towing, certified technicians when your vehicle has been smashed by a hard hit. They also offer free computerized estimates. B&K Auto Body, phone 847-3990. All right, the Wildcats come home next Friday night to host Marshfield, and it's a difficult first half of the schedule. 3 of the 5 games are on the road. First one here tonight. They've got Marshfield at home next week, but then they've got back-to-back long road trips to Nevada in week 3, to Rogersville in week 4, and then you come home in week 5, but it's the Lamar Tigers.
Yeah, it's not an easy schedule, and with this conference, it never is. And I think you're going to see a lot of parity in this conference, and we saw a tough game tonight, close game, and we'll see how it shakes out. Wildcats, they've got some work to do, and Coach Parnell just talked about that a moment ago, and we'll see how the kids respond this week. This would not be a fun week of practice. I don't. Anytime a coach says something to the effect of our physical conditioning needs to get better, I looked at Todd when he said that and just kind of gave that ooh face, because I know what that means.
Yeah, that doesn't matter what the sport is either.
Right. And so it's going to be a tough week of practice for these kids, and hopefully what we see is a team that this loss leaves a pretty sour taste in their mouth, and they come out hungry at home next Friday night.
Looking at some finals around the Big 8, Monette beats Hollister 20-13. Aurora comes back and upends McDonald County 50-36. Reed Spring goes on to beat East Newton 41-7. And Nevada, they had a back and forth with Rogersville, and they win it 38-26, that game at Rogersville. Lamar at Springfield Catholic, and the Tigers starting to pull away over the Irish in the second half. It's 50-12 now in favor of Lamar. And then a back and forth affair. Marshfield had the early advantage against Seneca, but the Indians have turned the tables in the second half, and they lead 34-30 over Marshfield in that game late in the fourth quarter. And the big matchup in the COC over in Joplin tonight for the second year in a row, Joplin holds off Webb City as the Eagles, playing at home against the Webb City Cardinals, win at 41-40 in a shootout and a dandy.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that was quite a football game right there. But you look around at these scores, and several good games. It would have been good games to be a part of and see. But, hey, we're just getting started, and a lot of football left. and that's a good thing for this Wildcat football team.
Yeah, you look at some of those scores, and if that continues throughout the season, we're going to have some very entertaining football games to watch and keep up with and follow throughout the Big 8 conference schedule and around Southwest Missouri.
Well, lots of scoreboards were lit up around the Big 8 and around this area tonight. But hey, football season's here, and it's a fun time of year.
It definitely is. Well, we need to get on out of here. We appreciate everyone for tuning in this evening here on the Talon Network stations and on Web TV. We also like to thank all the folks here at Mount Vernon, Athletic Director Chris Johnston and all of his staff for all the hospitality and the courtesies extended to us and helping us out getting set up for the broadcast. We appreciate everyone at Mount Vernon High School for their kindness and a beautiful facility over here that opened back a few years ago with the turf and the stadium. Unfortunately, the stadium could not be filled to capacity tonight, but that is going to be the norm heading at least through the first half or so of the season as we deal with the coronavirus throughout the 2020 season. But the good news is we are playing football, as Jeremy said, and got through week one, and we keep our fingers crossed and the hopes and the prayers go out with everyone that they stay safe and we can continue bringing you high school football and enjoy high school football throughout the 2020 season. Thanks to all of our sponsors for helping support tonight's broadcast, whether on Web TV or on the radio or on line. We appreciate each and every one of them so very much for helping us get these broadcasts out on the airwaves and supporting not only us and our broadcasts, but Cassville High School Athletics. Thanks to Todd for running the camera for us. We'll try to think of another title to add to his list. We've added a few. He's had like 3 or 4 there tonight we stuck on him, but he does a great job running the Web TV and the camera for us. We appreciate him. And glad to be back with you for high school football in 2020, and we look forward to coming down to Cassville in the home opener for the Wildcats next Friday.
Yes, home game. Home games are fun. Get home early and no, it's great. You know, Cassville is a great atmosphere. You know, a great facility down there, and it's always fun to be in front of that home crowd.
Should be a good one, and we invite you to tune in next Friday night. We'll be on the airway around 6:30, and the kickoff set for 7 o'clock tomorrow, or excuse me, next Friday between Cassville and the Marshfield Blue Jays. Well, that's going to do it tonight here from Mount Vernon. Once again, our final score, the Mountaineers score in the final 30 seconds of the ball game, and they win at 21-13 over the Cassville Wildcats. Speaking for Jeremy and Todd, this is Sammy Clapper saying thanks so much for joining us, and good night from Mountaineer Stadium.